The Toronto Raptors win huge. What a comeback win for a team that I had all but, I hate to admit it, I had all but given up on this team in the third quarter. This is a team that was going up against this Atlanta Hawks team for the second time. This time, the stakes were a lot higher. The Toronto Raptors are the same group as the Atlanta Hawks for the NBA Cup. And it just so happens that these are the two teams that have actually won in the NBA Cup so far. The Toronto Raptors, obviously, they got past the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the Atlanta Hawks were the number one team in the group because point differential does matter. So there's a little bit of extra stakes. And for the first time since the NBA Cup's invention 3 years ago, the Raptors have the type of team that can actually win this cup. And I'm not kidding. And for the first, I want to say 30 minutes of this game, it was embarrassing. Wait, are we now 5-4 or 4-4? We are 5-4. I'm excited because I can't remember the last time the Raptors were 5-4 this deep into the season. That's pretty cool. The Raptors are above 500 and they beat a good Hawks team. Let's just not be crazy here. And they had no business winning this game, but the Toronto Raptors, frankly, they showed a lot of grit, a lot of toughness, and a lot of will to win this game because the shot was not falling. They were absolutely getting the term from the West Coast. Shout outs to my West Coast people is mollywopped. They were getting mollywopped. In the first half, this team felt like they didn't know what hit them. Okay. The Hawks defense was physical. They were getting out rebounded. The Hawks were getting every loose ball. The Raptors were standing around watching. They were getting blown by. Shots were missing. They were being very tepid, passive on offense. And it was a disgusting effort. Let's just be honest. Let's call it a spade a spade. The Raptors have won this game. So let's just be real. That first half was inexcusably bad basketball. And sometime in the late third, early fourth, the Toronto Raptors decided to make an adjustment. They put Jamison Battle in. And this is something, Jamison Battle didn't have to do a damn thing tonight. He took one shot. He missed his one shot. He was plus 11. He was plus 11. And by the end of the game, everyone was plus because that's what happened in the fourth quarter. The Raptors outscored the Hawks in the third quarter, 29-24. They outscored the Hawks in the fourth quarter, 36-20. When it was winning time, turns out that one team just had better players. And a lot of things went right for a lot of players on this night. And frankly, this is a sight for sore eyes. I'm going to borrow a term from a previous live for Emmanuel Quickley, who had probably his best game of the season. It was not without its trouble. It was not without its warts. But honestly, given the way Emmanuel Quickley has been playing, I'll take 3 steals, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 18 points on only 11 shots, and 3 for 7 from the three-point line and 5 for 6 from the three-point line. Honest, free throw line, he got robbed on that continuation on the follow-through on, there was that play. What was it? It was a three-pointer where Nickeil Alexander-Walker fouls him, and he should have gotten continuation on that. He should have gotten continuation. He should have gotten 20 points tonight. And he would have, had he gotten 20 points, been the second 20-point per game scorer. 20-point scorer. RJ Barrett had an abysmal first half, really pulled it together in the second half offensively. Scotty Barnes had a very, very, very uneven game offensively. Very passive. Shot around the rim was not going through. Scotty finishes the game 5 for 16. RJ ends up finishing 7 for 15. Ingram finishes 7 for 19, although Ingram was on a bit of a heater early. Couldn't continue it going forward. And this was just a team win. That's really what it was. 7 players in double digits, including Gradey Brick off the bench with 11, Sandro Mamukelashvili with 12. I think the only player that you can really say gets gold stars across the entire game is probably Sandro, who kind of kept the game close enough. Nolan saying, "Are you worried about CMB after this game?" No, I am not worried at all about CMB. This was a tough game. This felt like playoff intensity. I'm going to be honest with you. This felt like playoff intensity. I realize this is not a playoff game, but this felt like playoff intensity. And there's a lot of takeaways from this game. Let's take a look at the box score, and then we will certainly look at the film breakdown. And I'll warn you, I was expecting a loss midway through the third. Now, for 3 days, today I was in the panel. I was asked, "What's going to happen in this game, Rob?" And I said the Raptors are going to win. I was so sure the Raptors were going to win. And then opening tip happened, and Scotty Barnes kind of came out like, and RJ Barrett is missing every rotation defensively, and Jakob Poeltl looks helpless, and CMB comes off the bench, and I see Gradey come in, and immediately a run happens. And I gotta be honest, I changed my mind. Like midway through the second quarter, I was like, we're probably gonna get stomped in this game. We look like we are sleepwalking. And I am just so traumatized by the previous year where the Raptors would get this big lead and then they would kind of get punched in the mouth and then they would give up the game, right? Now, obviously, tanking context, whatever. The Raptors gave up a lot of close games last year. This is probably the most impressive win of the season, if I'm being honest. I understand Trae Young didn't play. I got news for you. They playing better without Trae Young. They have been a better team without Trae Young. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been such a massive improvement defensively. You have beaten a team that a lot of people consistently had top 4 in the East. There is nothing stopping the Toronto Raptors from getting top 4 in the East. And you didn't get great shooting performances from Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes. And those are your two best players, right? So I just feel like this is the type of gut check when, again, just briefly summarizing, Brandon Ingram with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. RJ Barrett with 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Scotty Barnes with 14 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Jakob Poeltl with 12 and 10, and Emmanuel Quickley with 18, 5, and 6. And 3 steals. Dope. And off the bench, we had Sandro Mamukelashvili in 21 minutes. He had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And Jamison Battle, again, 6 minutes. 6 minutes, and I feel like the flow of the game changed when he got in. I don't know how he did it. I don't know if he's a magic, maybe it's a optical illusion because I love Jamison Battle so much, and I've been calling for him to play. So maybe it's just like Jamison Battle didn't really do very much, but he was just a threat to score. He's just a very error-free player, and the Raptors just seemed very stable. The spacing felt better. Scotty's drives felt cleaner on the side of the court that Jamison was on. And, Scotty deserves a lot of credit because this was not a really great game for him. I think had they lost this game, I think a lot of people would be out with their pitchforks for Scotty Barnes saying like, hey, Scotty, why are you not finishing at the rim? Why are you so passive? Why are you missing all your jump shots, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like Scotty just kind of grinded out this win. He was great in transition. He was great as a playmaker. The 4 assists are very, very misleading because the 4 assists he had were awesome. There was one, which was the corner one to Gradey Brick. There was a brilliant transition pass to RJ Barrett. We'll look at all of that. And again, Gradey Brick off the bench with 11 points. Really rough defensive showing, but he wins his minutes. plus 7. For the Atlanta Hawks, they got a 21.7 rebound, 4 assist game from Jalen Johnson, who also added 6 turnovers. Really rough. You could really see how this team improves defensively without Trae Young. You can also see how much they could have used Trae Young down the stretch of this game offensively, because again, the turnovers. I mean, I understand they've been trying this sort of like joint point guard, trio point guard experiment with Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels. Dyson really struggled down the stretch of this game. He ends up with a tour date 7-8-8 tonight, and played some great defense, but just missed a ton of shots. And the Raptors were really able to play off of him a little bit. Off the bench, they get a brilliant performance on Onyeka Okongwu, 7 points, 11 rebounds, and Keaton Wallace was underrated, underrated in his minutes. In 20 minutes, he puts up 7 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Take a look really quickly at the team stats. Tonight, the Toronto Raptors shoot an abysmal 40% from the field and 31% from 3, but somehow the Hawks managed to shoot worse, 34% from the field and 23% from 3. The Raptors hold a team under 100 points, I believe, for the first time this season. And the way this game was going in the third quarter, I really felt the final score was going to be like 87-89. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of game we were getting. And this was not a pretty game, but you got to learn how to win these games too. This is the closest thing to a playoff game the Raptors have faced all year. And the Raptors managed to keep their turnovers low. Shout outs to Scotty, shout outs to RJ, shout outs to Emmanuel Quickley for not, coughing up the ball. The Hawks turn it over 19 times versus the Raptors 13. Points in the paint. The Raptors win that battle somehow. I have no idea how they won that battle, but they did. The Hawks led by as many as 13 points. 13 points was the deficit to overcome for the Raptors. And at one point, the Raptors went on a 14-0 run. which was amazing. The Raptors get out rebounded. Yes, they did get killed on the offensive glass. And honestly, the number is a little bit misleading. It's 19-13. You take away those 2 missed bunnies from Scotty Barnes, where he kind of got his own offensive rebound. It's like 11-19. You know what I mean? Those are like me bounds. Luckily for the Raptors, they do make their free throws tonight, 23 for 25. And again, they just make 3 more threes. That's really the difference in this game, man. 3 threes makes this, a very, very close game. And the Raptors just hit their shots and the Hawks didn't. Let's take a look at the film breakdown. Hold on. Pull this up one sec. Pull this off. We got the call-in link in the description. I will actually put it in the chat if you would like to talk about what you saw today, whether you want to talk about CMB's somewhat, disappointing performance. I think it's honestly par for the course, right? Like, he's a rookie. This is not a reason to sell on CMB stock. Okay. Like, he got some open threes. He missed some open threes. It's not a big deal. But yeah, if you want to talk about CMB, you want to talk about RJ Barrett, you want to talk about defense, offense, whatever, you want to talk about Scotty, kind of looking the way he looked tonight, good, bad, whatever, we can talk about all of it. Okay. I'll pull this off 1 second. How y'all doing, man? That was an emotionally tough game. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. I start out very negative. I say the Raptors offense is in jail, and it is, right? This play was like Emmanuel quickly dribbling. This was Brandon Ingram dribbling into Emmanuel quickly dribbling, and it felt like there was a force that they were playing with, and you could just see it. Like, Emmanuel quickly often gets in trouble picking up his dribble, and that was bad, man. Now, here I say, why would you pass this? And this is a fast break. Scotty gets a steal, right? And he is pushing. Now, look, man, you need to go through contact. That's Zachary Ricochet. He should not be able to stop you at the rim. Instead, you try to be a good teammate. And Scotty was very passive to start this game. And I didn't like it. I did not like the passivity. Okay. And here, you're going to pass to Emmanuel quickly. And Emmanuel quickly actually missed one of his free throws. I don't understand why you are passing back in transition when Zachary Ricochet is the guy at the rim. Like, you just need to finish. And Scotty didn't have a lot of great lift tonight on his offensive plays. Like, you could tell he was sort of struggling. There was a reverse dunk in transition over Jalen Johnson, where Jalen Johnson was kind of fouled him, and he just barely got 4 inches off the ground. So I wonder if, the time off was just not great for Scotty, or, if he's just battling through something, but he did not look right today. He just gutted this one through. Here, gets this block, wonderful block on Onyeka Okongwu. Scotty had a lot of great defensive possessions tonight. Here, Emmanuel quickly, obviously the first pass is going to be to RJ Barrett, always to RJ Barrett. And here, RJ Barrett is going to take 3 defenders at the rim. I don't like this shot. I appreciate aggression, but you're not Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Sandro Mamukelashvili is wide open, and he's hitting his shots. You need to make this pass. Now, I appreciate that you get to your left hand, but everyone's playing you for your left hand, so maybe you need to cut back to the right in this situation. Those are 2 lost points, and that's not the only time the Raptors would miss easy points in transitions. The Raptors did not deserve to win this game based on how they were playing in the first 3 quarters. They absolutely deserve to win this game based on how they played in the 4th quarter. Here, Brandon Ingram, calls Gradey into a little bit of a screen here. Love that Brandon Ingram is able to get wide on this screen. A little bit illegal, a little bit moving. And here, Jalen Johnson is just like, what are you doing to Vit Krejci? And that leads to a wide open jump shot for Gradey Dick. Yeesh. That's beautiful basketball, but that's awful defense by the Atlanta Hawks, who, by the way, played their asses off defensively tonight. Okay, here we go. Look at this play here on Keaton Wallace where Jamal Shed contains. This is what we say, like, the point of attack defense is so important so the help can do their job. Now, this is what the Raptors want to do. They want to trap drivers who are not comfortable decision makers, and that's how they force, 6 turnovers for Jalen Johnson, and that's how they force this turnover right here. Watch. Boom. That's a travel. As far as I'm concerned, that's a travel, and boom, it's called a travel. So that comes down to Jamal Shed doing his job, but also Scotty converging at the exact moment. Now, in the first quarter, in the early second quarter, I said Mamukelishvili is doing his job. Now please put Battle in. I was calling for Battle in this entire game. As y'all will remember, the last time the Raptors had an NBA Cup game, they were down big. They were down 10, and then they put Jameson Battle in against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it all got steadied out. I don't know what Jameson Battle does for this team, but every single time you're in trouble, you break the bank. And I'm just like, at this point, should he just be a permanent part of the rotation? Like, is that just the right, respectful thing to do? Can we be honest? If Jameson Battle was a lottery pick, Jameson Battle would be playing. So this is just NBA politics, and I don't like it. Now here, Mamukelishvili, just right place, right time, puts it up. But hey, man, good job. And Brandon Ingram getting blocked by Kristaps Porzingis. I don't think I've seen a lot of people blocking a Brandon Ingram shot. Scotty Barnes, one of two times where he is going to take Kristaps Porzingis into the post and just kind of old school bully ball him. This is about the only type of shot that was going for Scotty tonight. Most of his shots were paint touches tonight. I don't think he made a single three tonight. And just, we go through ebbs and flows with Scotty offensively, man. Can't be going through ebbs and flows defensively. So I appreciate that part of his game has been very consistent. I say, watch Emmanuel quickly on this play. Apparently, okay, let's watch it. It's not letting me load it. Okay, here we go. Oh, I should have muted this. Okay, watch Emmanuel quickly defensively here. His man is Nickeil Alexander-Walker, right? Now, IQ, defensive awareness sometimes can be a little bit lacking. And here, he is, for whatever reason, he's so far away from the play. You have to be aware of your man right here. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a smart player. He sees that IQ is ball watching, and he is going to back cut past IQ, and Kristaps Porzingis is just going to find him for the easiest bucket of his life. Again, crazy, right? Just absolutely nuts that you give up easy points like that. This is the worst, easily the worst stretch of RJ Barrett basketball that I think we've seen this year. And this is, just forcing it. His shot's not going. He missed a ton of threes. He missed a lot of jump shots. He's missing around the paint. So this was him kind of forcing it a little bit. Now, RJ Barrett had a much better second half. But look at this right here. Is this a good shot with 5 seconds to go? No. A step back three for you is not a good shot. Over length is not a good shot. That, first of all, it's not your shot. You're not a step back jump shooter. You're not a pull up jump shooter. You're not an off the dribble guy. You're a catch and shoot guy. So immediately, and this is where I say, like, the form matters, right? You don't have the form to get the shot off over a 7'4" defender. Now, RJ Barrett is going to persist here. Now, again, you got 2.8 seconds on the clock. So I understand that this is a bit of a panicked, rushed finish. And here, Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett is going to once again find himself in a position to be open. And that's your third miss in 12 seconds. Yikes. Okay. I say here, RJ needs to wake up defensively. And I mean it. Okay. Now here, he is clearly supposed to be the rotation on Zach Risacher. Risacher can shoot. You need to be aware of that. But he gives up on this play, and it leads to a wide open three for Zach Risacher. Now here, Risacher somehow by miracle misses, and RJ is late to the rebound. Jalen Johnson gets the rebound away from him. And this results in a wide open dunk because Scotty is late on that rotation. And the next play we look at, RJ Barrett. Are you really helping here? That is Dyson Daniels in the post on Jakob Poeltl. You need to be aware of your help side rotation here. You need to be aware that your man is Jalen Johnson right here. And quite frankly, you're not doing anything to stop the real threat here, which is Kristaps Porzingis. So BI, and you don't need to triple team Dyson Daniels in the post. This is just low IQ. And here, you're trying to play this passing lane, but you're not even playing it because you're not pressuring the basketball at all. I mean, do something. If you converge onto the basketball and try to force this instead of just standing there with your hands up, then at least I could say this is probably on quickly to help you. But here, this is 100% your man, and you're late, and it's a wide open three, and it goes in. Again, This sequence in the third quarter pretty much made me quit on this game. Sucks. It was just bad. Okay. I say this is ethical hoops. This is ethical hoops, man. I like post touches for good playmakers. And Scotty's your best playmaker. So I like post touches for him. He doesn't have it going offensively. And here, now, you see that this passing angle, this defender is leaning towards Gradey. So the temptation is to throw it to Gradey, but everyone thinks that you're about to throw it to Gradey. Everyone can see that Gradey is the open shooter. So Scotty's going to get it. He's going to come down. You can see Mohamedou Gueye is starting to play this pass to Gradey intelligently, because obviously that's the one pass that Scotty can make. He is clearly double teamed. I would not respect Scotty if he tried to force this up over a double team. And frankly, I knew he wouldn't. So here, he's going to make the open pass to CMB, which shifts Mohamedou Gueye, which of course creates the wide open shot for Gradey Brick. This is beautiful basketball. Love it. This is the right play every time. Trust your teammates to do the right thing. Now, a lot has been made of the fact that the Raptors were one of the worst efficiency transition teams in the league last year. Here's Sandro Mamukelashvili trying to finish over an excessive amount of length in Mohamedou Gueye and sorry, is that Onyeka Okongwu? And on the next play, we have Gradey Brick deciding it's my turn. Now look, this is bad. Hold on. Uh-oh. Gradey Brick manages to get this basketball, and that's Dyson Daniels. Now, the spacing in terms of transition is awful. CMB and Scotty are way too close together. Scotty needs to fan out to the corner, or he needs to get ahead of CMB and beat his man. But unfortunately, this is just bad spacing for Gradey. So Scotty needs to run to the corner or at least lift. Nobody is giving Gradey a great pass here. So I don't entirely blame Gradey for not making this pass. What I will say is, though, this is why your transition offense sucked. Because you give up what is a 3-on-3 fast break. You can also pull this out. You don't have to force this really tough shot at the rim. Now, I really felt like the whistle tonight was a little bit slanted in Atlanta's favor, which should probably be a little bit bittersweet for Raptor fans who, were feeling a little bit stressed by this game like I was. Like, okay, like we can feel good about this. Like they got the easier whistle, and I feel like we still won the game. Here, Scotty just turns on the Jets, beats his man off the dribble. Keaton Wallace is late to getting out to Gradey Brick, and Gradey makes another three. Scotty knows where his shooters are, man. And that's his shooter right now. But the threat of Jamison Battle is making a lot of things possible for the Raptors. I say, oh, Toronto has a lead. And oh, look, Jamison Battle is on the court. Now, again, Jamison Battle didn't make a single shot tonight. But look at what that defender has to do because Battle is on the court. He has to stay hugged to him, can't help on the Scotty drive, and Scotty is able to get. Again, this is the small stuff that I feel a lot of people miss when it comes to what is the value of a great shooter in the corner, even if the shooter doesn't make the shot, right? Like, you have to respect Jamison Battle because if you play this passing lane, that is an automatic 100% bucket, 3 points for Jamison Battle. So you have to stay home. And right now, Keaton Wallace is willing. Look how many defenders have converged onto the paint. Jakob Poeltl has kind of brought his man into the play here. RJ Barrett is wide open. IQ is wide open. But honestly, Scotty makes the right decision, and he gets this awkward finish off. Good job. Here, I say Atlanta has made a big mistake defensively. You cannot go under in Emmanuel Quickley. Like, you can't go under on Emmanuel Quickley. Nickeil Alexander-Walker clearly has not read the scouting report here. You have to crowd Quickley's dribble so that he can't get into a shot. Because if you crowd it, he can't get it off. That's why I'm actually kind of worried that Quickley is going to suck in the playoffs. But here, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, for whatever reason, goes under on this screen, and boom, that is an automatic launch for Emmanuel Quickley. You really don't need to Like, I mean, this is not okay. So we talked about some bad fast breaks. What's a good fast break? This is a great fast break. Now here, don't play the middle. Don't overplay the middle. Play the left, crossover middle. And here, RJ is so good at finding space to score. Again, this is the AAU stuff. This is the high school stuff. He's been doing this forever. He is a professional scorer. He cuts wide to give Scotty this angle. Beautiful. Beautiful, right? Because if he's too close, watch this. Just watch how RJ kind of like does a little bit of a wide cut. You can see RJ is sort of going away from the basket to give Scotty this pass. And then he speeds up. And that's another thing about transition that I feel is very, very underrated is people don't understand. Sometimes you need to change pace in transition, right? Boom. Great left-hand finish. Love it. Great cut by RJ. And I said, that's my point guard. Because Scotty really took over a lot of decision-making duties in transition in the fourth quarter. When this game was in the balance, he had the ball. And I like that. Here, turn on the Jets. Beautiful. Beautiful pass. And Jakob Poeltl, nice little fake, goes up and under. Jakob Poeltl has looked a hell of a lot better over the last 2 games. Good job. And here I say RJ Barrett with anger emojis because this was the play I feel like that really just sealed this game. 100%. RJ, bully ball, takes Zachary Sachet. This is what I think Scotty should have done when he had Zachary Sachet on the break. Just put your body into this dude. He can't stop you. You don't need to pass the man quickly. RJ played really, really good second half, I feel. Offensively, especially, he was very, very good. Okay, so that's where we're at in terms of our film breakdown. Give this video a like if you appreciate film breakdowns. We got Gradey Brick calling in. What could his point be? Man, I don't know who Gradey Brick is. I hope it's not a troll. Feel free to write me in the private chat that you're not a troll and you just have a funny name. And also, if you would like to call in, let me just put the link in the description again here. One sec. Okay. Devin Kumar saying, I'm not a troll. Okay, that's good. Okay. Gradey Brick, what's up? Hello? Mic off, mic on, speak. What's up? Can anyone else hear Gradey Brick? Devin saying, oh man, the mic isn't working. So your mic bricked. Okay, cool. Try again if you would like. Okay, let me put the link in the description here as well. Would love to hear from callers. We got 516 people here. We finally started a live on time. Okay, we started a little bit early. This is the call-in link. We would love to hear from you. Okay, let's listen to some super chats here. We got a couple of 279 super chats. One from Too Quick Grim said those reps at the end really tried for Atlanta. I 100% agree with you. ATL could really use BI right now. In place of what? In place of whom? I really think Nickeil Alexander-Walker has worked out for them. I actually wish the Raptors could have gotten Nickeil. I think he would have been a perfect fit next to like what we're trying to do with the pressure and stuff. Yeah. Locky King saying starting on time definitely helps for numbers. Gregory warning you. Gregory is one of our moderators. He said, you better not be a troll, Devin. The patrol be watching. Okay, Gradey Brick, are you ready now? Is your mic working now? Okay. I'm gonna have to kick you from the studio. We got Shannon calling in. Shannon, what's up?
Hey, Rob. Good game. Very, very good game. Happy Toronto pulled it out. They kept fighting. I don't know, man. I think from my perspective, I saw that film breakdown. You show that I think you said 3-minute stretch of RJ, his worst 3-minute stretch. I don't know, man. I think you're being
15 seconds.
15-second stretch. All right.
Yeah.
And you saw one when he went up, 1-on-3. I missed the layup. He had to pass to Mamu, but with these games, we can pick what we want to show and the narrative we want to tell. We can, because if we wanted to, we could show that RJ made so many great passes, open threes that teammates were missing. So, I mean, probably like 8. If you go back in the film and you want to show it tomorrow, watch how many passes, great passes that he made for open threes where these dudes just couldn't hit. Like, if you want to show, instead of showing that he didn't hit Mamu, maybe show the other 8. If you wanted to, you could have done that. If we wanted to, we could have showed some of the great defensive plays he played. He was guarding Dyson. Some of the good rotations made. We could show Scottie getting beat backdoor. We could show Scottie getting, scored on. He has some defensive lapses as well. He has some good defensive plays, but some bad ones. It's a 48-minute game. You're going to have both. I think we nitpick. And then also, down the stretch, they went to RJ. That's what they went to down the stretch. BI, he scored, but I don't think he had a particularly good game. I thought for the most part, at some point, when it came to Scottie, I was thinking, did he go to Magic City last night? Because he doesn't have the same energy. Like, he's off. He's slow. He's a step behind. He's not making smart decisions like he usually does. And I'm like, is he going to wake up? And he did. He did in the fourth quarter. But the entire game, I thought RJ played with energy. In the first half, he missed shots, but they weren't, for the most part, bad shots. I mean, he missed like 5 shots in the first half. He had that one step back that was against the shot
right.
clock.
Well, I mean, Shannon, biases aside, like, obviously you're a very big RJ guy. I caught your comment on Hello and Welcome's podcast where, Scottie had an interview and you said, like, they held I don't know what the comment was specifically that you made. Like, what did you say on Hello and Welcome's podcast?
I don't know if it was that pocket, but it was one reporter.
It was a Scottie presser where, this was literally yesterday and I just saw your name and I was like, oh, that's a strange comment. You said they held it up to him and he didn't know what to do with it, or they asked him a real question or something and they didn't know what to do with it.
So what it was is it was a reporter who it was a reporter. I forgot the question, but it was something about Scottie's not having. I don't know if it was a defensive play. I don't know what the play was, but I know what the play he was talking about. And he said, that wasn't your best play there. I don't know how. And then Scottie said, well, no, I thought I did this. He said, no, you really didn't. And Scottie looked surprised because he's not used to reporters talking to him like that. So he looked at him.
Specifically what it was the reporter asked him something about you've been more away from the basketball. And he said, no, I've been on the ball. I guarded Jaren Jackson. That was on the ball. Giannis had the ball. That's the question. So I was very confused by your comment. And almost felt like you had misunderstood the comment because you were looking for something to say that was kind of negative about Scottie.
No, not at all. No, not at all. What happened? It was something about being on the ball. But that particular play, I agreed with the reporter. That play, and then Scottie objected to what the reporter said. And
so you don't think Scottie's been on the ball?
I don't think he was talking about the entire season. He said on that play. He was talking on that particular play. If you go back to the pod, but he was saying on that play. How Scottie played that play and how he described it, I agreed with him on that particular play. But even if I didn't agree with it, it didn't matter. The point was Scottie's reaction to what he objected to what the guy said. And the guy said, no, I believe I know what I'm talking about. And Scottie's face, to me, was funny because typically in these pressers, you're not going to notice this because you like Scottie, right? But in these pressers, you don't? I like Scottie, but I think I'm pretty objective. Like what I think Toronto media.
You followed that up with but, and I don't get it.
Okay, Toronto media for me.
And you're killing me, man.
The Toronto media for me, they are very easy on Scottie.
They are absolutely not, bro. Come on, man.
In these pressers, they are. They're giving this late. They say things that to me are unnecessary. So, well, as this was so amazing what you did, and as a leader of the team, and it's just super
he is
flowy.
The leader of the team.
Well, I don't know. For example, when they
he's not the leader of this team.
They asked
Sky Lion, Bobby Lion, Scottie Lion, teammates Lion. You know what RJ Barrett said about him last year? He said he's the most unselfish superstar I've ever played with.
they asked Jamal Shed today. Oh, not today, but this year. So who leads you guys? He said, this. He said, there's Scotty, there's RJ, there's Jakob. He said we have multiple people who step up and lead. There's someone. I'm going to send it to you if I can. I saved it. Someone, I forgot who did it, but it's one of your media members. He said, I go to practices and I'm listening to court. He had a different take on who he thought the leader was. That's not really important to me. But when I watch it with my own eyes, right, this year, in terms of energy, in terms of vocal, in terms of, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want division. And plus, it doesn't matter who's the leader of the team. I'm just saying, in regards to what we were talking about, I thought it was funny, Scotty's reaction, because in those pressers, the media, to me, are pretty easy on Scotty. And those pressers turn into like a Scotty.
It's actually RJ that they've been very easy on, because many things could be said about RJ's defense over the last couple of years, but nothing has ever been said about RJ's defense in Toronto media, or that's not a lie. That's a lie. People have questioned RJ's fit on this
Exactly.
team, but they don't do dissections of RJ's attitude. Like, look, man, first of all, you basketball guy, I'm a basketball guy. We know that nothing reflects effort more than defense. Okay. Every single person could tell you that they play basketball. Defense is about effort. Rebounding is about effort. Scotty is the best defender on this team, bar none. And defense reflects effort. Yet it is Scotty's effort that is consistently called into question by the Toronto media. I mean, you're not paying attention to these Toronto media guys if you telling me Scotty has had it easy with the Toronto media. There is not a single person in the chat. Chat, give me a W in the chat. Actually, give me an L in the chat if you think the Toronto media has been very unfair to Scotty Barnes through his first 4 years. Go ahead. Let's see how many L's we get in the 469 people. They have written articles about his maturity, his attitude, his leadership, his compete level. Look at all the L's, bro. L, L, L. My God. So many fucking L's. They haven't been, man. They have anointed RJ as like the, this amazing guy for this team, and they don't talk about his defense.
No, come on, bro.
No, they don't. They do not talk about his defense, bro. They do not. Okay, they do not. They talk about Scotty's attitude. They talk about Scotty's. Oh, he's complaining to the refs. RJ don't complain to the refs. RJ complains to the refs all the time. Okay.
Oh, man.
So I mean, I don't look, man, I don't want to have this back and forth. We just want to
I agree.
You clearly have an issue with me dissecting RJ plays that are not positive.
What I'm saying is that, like, for example, like at the end of the game, did you notice that at the end of the game, like, for example, two things. One, did you notice, and let me get two things out, you can answer both. At the end of the game, they consistently did a pick and roll with Jakob and RJ, so RJ could get left. They figured that was going to be the best way to close out this game. And they went to that repeatedly, and RJ delivered. Down the stretch, that's what they were going to. They were going to RJ, and he was making the right play, whether it was the score or the pass. That he's been doing that, a season in regards to making the right play, score, pass. And also, to me, when you say B.I. and Scotty are the best two players on the team, conventional wisdom would say that. They're the best, they're the highest paid. B.I. gets the easiest scores. Mm-hmm. He's a bucket, 101, but he has not. He leads the team in scoring, but he has not been the best player on the team. He's not. I mean, if you want to say Scotty's been, I can live with that. But it's been Scotty and RJ. It has not been B.I. and Scotty. I mean, B.I. takes bad shots. To me, he holds the ball too much. To me, he doesn't make winning plays all the time. He can make hard shots, and he does.
Do you realize how? Look, man, it's not just about what you do. Brandon Ingram is opening up mountains of space for Scotty and RJ and Quickly and Mamu and everybody. He is a consistent. I'll tell you this: Brandon Ingram has been the best mid-range shooter in the league this year,
because
he's been amazing at the rim as well.
I would challenge you, Rob, to, when you get time, because they only played 9 games. Look at the ebbs and flows of the game and how often, when it's B.I. on the floor without Scotty,
how are they getting guarded, dude? How are they getting guarded? You think RJ is getting guarded the way Brandon Ingram is getting guarded?
That wasn't what I was going to say is, when you get time, there's only been 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
At some point when you get time, look at how often the team goes backwards. When it's the ebbs and flows of the game, how often the team goes backwards when it's B.I. charged to lead this game. And then when RJ comes back in, then we start making our push. When Scotty comes in with RJ all by himself, start making a push. How often the team goes backwards when the onus is on BI to lead it? How often?
Right.
And how often we get off the bat starts when BI is just doing stuff that's not team ball. When the Raptors,
Well, we are 5-4 for the first time, and it just so happens that Brandon Ingram is on this team, man. I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying. RJ has been amazing to start this year, but make no mistake about
I'm
it.
not saying BI's,
He is the third option on this team. He is not getting the most. Like if you look at how the other team is guarding, they think Brandon Ingram is the best offensive player on this team.
It's not just guarding.
Because of who they're guarding him with. Like it matters. It matters a lot. You know, when Scotty got the ball on the post with Dyson Daniels, lost it immediately, right? Well, why is he not losing the ball all the time? Because Dyson Daniels is preoccupied. Okay, that's my point. Like Brandon Ingram settles so many things offensively. He's such a great. He's the only player on this
I
team
don't think he's a winning player. I think there's a reason why his entire life he's never been on a winning team ever.
That's not true.
I think
that's
one time.
Not true.
And it was
He's been to the playoffs, dude.
Like once or twice in this. I think maybe once with New Orleans or twice, maybe he's been to the playoffs.
Yeah, just
and got knocked out the first round.
I think BI has committed defensively, committed to the defensive end far more this season than.
I think there's no coincidence. I like BI. I think that he's great for this team. I agree that the team is good with him because of what he brings to the table.
Right.
But I know for 100% fact. I'm watching him. I'm like, come on, man, you can be smarter than that. Like, come on, like you can move the ball in a situation. Like you're worried about the wrong thing sometimes. Like, come on, like so many times I question his decision making. So many times, but they need him. I agree that he provides so much gravity because of his shot making ability. So many times I say, okay, now is the time to get B out of the ball. This is the time. Give him the ball and let him go to work. We need a bucket. He's your best shot at getting a bucket in a tight situation. There's no question about it. But in terms of play, a basketball play is so much more than that. Sometimes it's stuff you don't even see. It's energy effort. It's energy level. It's how you're communicating with your teammates. It's the passing you make at the right time. It's ball and clock management. So many things that go into being a winning basketball player that BI is lacking. And RJ's playing winning basketball. Scotty's playing winning basketball. I think a lot of people don't see it. People just knee-jerkily say, Scotty, it's the second. He has not. He's been great. He's been a great scorer. He's been the best scorer, and he's a killer, and he's dangerous. And teams have to pay attention to him. They're afraid of him because he's a bucket. He provides gravity. He gives space. And I agree with all that. Having him on the team is 100% positive. But in terms of
what team does Brandon Ingram play for?
Huh?
What team does Brandon Ingram play for
right now?
Mm-hmm.
Toronto.
RJ.
Toronto.
Scotty.
Toronto.
Perfect. We got an awesome big three. Shannon, you got any final thoughts, man?
I love what you just said. So it'd been nice if you'd have said, we got to. When you said, Scotty, beyond the best two players, and then RJ, that hasn't been what's been happening this year. If anything, they've all impacted different ways. It hasn't been RJ bringing up the rear with these two guys leading the team. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I appreciate you always, man. Thanks for keeping it real.
You as well.
Good W tonight. Yeah,
I agree. Thanks.
Peace.
Thanks, Rob.
Peace. Okay, we got Josh up next. Then we got Nolan. Then we got Coach Mo. Then we got Red Salute. Josh, what's up, man? We got a lot of calls.
What's going on, Ben? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We're gonna try to keep every call to about 5 minutes. What's good, man? What'd you think of the next game?
Perfect. It's actually 4 a.m. over here. That works.
Where are you? 4 a.m. You're in Europe.
Yeah, I moved to Newcastle.
Dope. It was
good to get a win since I was staying up for the game. I've been able to join this live finally now. I've been waiting.
Okay. I'm glad to hear from you. How was the move?
Well, thank God. The move for school and thank God everything's going well so far.
Okay. Good stuff. What'd you think of the game?
There was some good and bad. I like the fact that we fought through that kind of tough game at the end. That was the one positive I'd say.
Right.
It was, to be honest, the main concern I have, and it kind of showed up, it started a bit last year for the Cavs, against the Cavs, whenever we played them. I'm seeing, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I'm seeing that Scotty seems to struggle a lot fighting over larger defenders, or at least teams that have a lot of larger defenders. Like tonight, it didn't seem he got much going on into the paint for majority of the game. and he was maybe settling for those mid-range shots that, yes, he can hit them, but he just wasn't hitting them today.
Right.
So I don't know. It's getting me a bit worried.
Yeah, I think it's fair. Look, I think he's been going through this sort of like knee tendonitis. You can see in how he's moving sometimes, like the burst on his drives isn't just all there. You can see when he's good and when he's not. He's just kind of, playing through this. It's not something that just goes away. I remember when they announced it in preseason, I was like, this is a 4-week thing. So, yeah, I think he kind of slugged through this game. There was a lot of effort on the glass. I think his processing and transition was amazing. And you know what? Everyone has bad games. Brandon Ingram didn't have a great game today. Scotty didn't have a great offensive game today. But I appreciate the fact that those two still found a way to impact the game, right? But yes, over length can be difficult at times. But I'll remind you, Scotty has had some incredible games against Giannis and Brook Lopez, right? Against Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons, with Nick Claxton as the low man. Like, he is not a player when healthy that he struggles against length, and I think sometimes we can get bogged down by a small sample size. What else do you think about the game?
The thing at the end, it was, I can't remember exactly when, but it was, I remember distinctly Scotty was jumping up and down in the corner, waving his hands, and IQ wasn't passing the ball.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? That was shocked me.
Yeah, Scotty's an emotional player sometimes, and honestly, I'm perfectly fine with Emmanuel quickly looking Scotty off in the corner based on how he was playing. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't care about it too much. But yes, it did result in a stupid shot, if you remember.
Yes,
it did, and maybe Scotty kind of just saw that coming because Scotty sees 2-3 plays ahead. So, but I don't have a problem with Emmanuel quickly taking a jump shot or Emmanuel quickly having the ball there. And I actually think this was Emmanuel quickly's best game, and I'm kind of like,
I agree.
I'm sad that the film session didn't focus as much on Emmanuel quickly. But if you've been watching our lives, you know that I have been trying to preach positivity and patience with Emmanuel quickly over the last week.
Yes,
a lot. And I feel like this is, open rhythm threes. He can do this. Like, he really can. So, this is what he was paid to do. This is what he came here to do. So do it. Do more of it. I hope that he continues.
Yeah, that's true. I'm getting worried a bit. Like, I keep on seeing comments about how, IQ and Scotty have issues, or like, and obviously, kind of like, I've been keeping the lives of it after, but I've been seeing also comments about, like, IQ only passing to RJ and all this stuff. I'm more worried this is gonna, like, stuff they're gonna hear, and it's gonna affect the team at some point.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're smart players, all of them. They can see what's happening on the court, and IQ's clearly going to pass to RJ when he's open, and there's a good reason for that. RJ has been scoring like a crazy motherfucker. Like, he's really efficient. And if you're Emmanuel quickly and you want an assist, get it to RJ Barrett. At least he's going to score. At least he's going to shoot. Scotty, a lot of, I think, his offensive shortcomings today were self-inflicted. They were. I always say, like, there's two types of mistakes that a young player can make: a mistake of passivity and a mistake of aggression. And I vastly prefer the mistakes of aggression. So RJ's mistakes are likely mistakes of aggression. Scotty's mistakes are almost always mistakes of passivity. So I prefer, RJ going 2-on-1 at the rim. As much as I hate it, sometimes when I'm watching it, I'm just like, oh, this is not going to go in. I hate it, but I hate Scotty passing up an almost wide open layup at the rim over one defender to pass it back to Emmanuel quickly even more. So it's like, I don't know, pick and choose. But yes, Emmanuel quickly and RJ Barrett pass to each other a lot, and Scotty and BI pass to each other a lot. So I don't know. Anyways, any final thoughts, Josh?
No, man, I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, peace. We have lost Coach Mo. Coach Mo, I don't know if you still there, but we're gonna go to Nolan. Nolan, what's up, man?
Well, I can breathe now that game is over.
Phew. Yes.
Let me preach too that this is the first time that we're above 500 for quite a while now. I don't know if we were above 500 last season at any point in time, but
I don't think we were. In
so
fact, I almost want to check that as you're talking, but yeah, go ahead.
But so yeah, first time above 500 for a while. Hopefully we can keep that streak going tomorrow night against the Sixers. We'll see.
Back to back.
A couple takeaways that I saw from this game.
Mm-hmm.
First off, like, the first half obviously wasn't the greatest for the Raptors. I noticed a lot I mean, we notice a lot with Quickly. His processing isn't necessarily the greatest when it comes to making the right passes. And you saw that kind of in the first half. He didn't make the best decisions, obviously. But then there are moments like the second half where you can start to see little flashes here and there that he's starting to pick up good habits when it comes to finding open guys and, really moving the ball.
Hmm.
And it's it's a good sign, I think. He just needs to get more consistent with that. Um,
Yep.
and
Can I share something with you really quickly? The
yeah,
last time the Toronto Raptors were above 500, this is a depressing thought. It was October 26, 2022. Sorry.
wow.
They might have been above 500 past that. Actually, that's the last time they started a season above 500. So they were above 500 against the Spurs. Hang on. Let's check at the end of the season. The last time they were actually above 500 was April 4th, 2023. That's the last time they were above 500 because
Wow.
then, yeah, they
Yeah.
finished the season. They lost to the Hawks. So yes, April
Well,
April 4th, 2023. That is crazy.
this is
That's
a
how
good
long it's
sign
been.
then. This
Yeah.
is a good sign. We're above 500 for the first time since 2023. Um, another thing I noted when I was watching the game tonight, um, not necessarily from the Raptors side, I didn't really necessarily understand Quinn Snyder's rotations tonight. I thought it was kind of weird. Um,
What did you
like
not
this,
like?
the moments when he was taking Risachet out, like I would say Risachet is probably one of their better scorers, and he
Hmm.
took him out at points where the Raptors were starting to make comebacks and the
Right.
Hawks were having stagnant offense. And I wondered why he was putting in what's the guy's name? The backup small forward for the Hawks. He has like a Russian last name or something.
Bit crazy. Yeah. A lot of
Him.
Hawks fans are really kind of. I think a lot of Hawks fans have felt that Vit should play over Keaton, but now that Trae Young is out, they're like, we got to play both of them. And Quinn Snyder really likes Keaton Wallace, and I really like Keaton Wallace, so I really like Quinn Snyder for that decision that he's making. So
Well, Wallace was a good choice. I thought it was interesting that he kept taking Risachet out at like the moments in the game where they probably needed him the most.
mm,
But and then the last thing that I noted too is that like when Scotty, and not just necessarily Scotty, but when the Raptors are playing so poorly that it pisses them off, for some
right.
reason it makes them play better. And I don't know why. Um, Maybe they just don't like to play with the lead. Maybe they like to come back. But um,
Hmm.
yeah, the Raptors play a lot more. They're a lot more focused when they're pissed off. So maybe they need to be pissed off a little bit more.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for your thoughts, Nolan. Any final
Yeah.
thoughts, man?
Uh, just one more thing. Shout out Toronto Tempo. Looking forward to going to some games.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. The summer's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really glad. Are there any female prospects that you're looking at in the next year's draft? And you're like, I really want that. I really want her.
Chloe Kitts. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
She's pretty. She's very pretty,
well, you
but
got connections to the city already with Colin, right? So maybe.
right. But she seemed pretty sad that Colin got drafted to Toronto. So maybe not her, but anyone else.
Don't
And she's
play into
also out
those.
for the year.
Don't play into those media things. I don't believe that.
Nah, I saw her reaction, bro. She was not pleased.
Oh well. I don't know. As long as the Tempo get like one or two like interesting prospects, I'll be happy.
One or two interesting. Yeah. I hope they get Flage. I don't think they're going to get that high in the draft. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Peace, man.
Peace.
Take care. Have a good night.
Take care.
Red Salute. What is up?
Hey, Pen, how you doing?
I am good. How are you?
Well, God, after that, pretty elated. That first half was everything wrong with this team, pretty much. The defensive rebounding, we don't box out at all,
Mm,
and you see this time and time again in the games we played so far this season that you'll see 2 to 3 opposing players from the other team just standing underneath our hoop.
mm-hmm.
No one's there boxing them out. No one's even standing around them. Scotty's AFK, Yak AFK. or if it's like, RJ or BI, they're just kind of standing around watching. But anyways, I digress. That first half, dude, IQ was looking off Scotty like crazy. RJ, you've covered it all in the on Twitter and in the on the tape breakdown. Second half, and particularly the fourth, well, I'd say more towards the end of the third quarter, when Darko went to that lineup, it was the lineup that you've called to be situated around Scotty. That rotation of Sandro, CMB,
Battle.
Actually, no, it wasn't Battle at that point. It was CMB, Sandro.
Was it BI?
Yeah, BI. That's it, and it was Gradey. If it was Jacoby,
yeah, that's pretty much the lineup, and that lineup got them back in the game.
Absolutely.
And like, again, like, basketball is a 5-on-5 thing. Trae Young is the most talented player on the Hawks by a country mile, right? It's important to note that they did better without him against a team that frankly played a better basketball game today, in my opinion. The Raptors are healthier than they were on opening night. Jakob Poeltl does not look like a corpse anymore.
Yep.
But the defensive effort without Trae Young is so important, right?
Absolutely.
If you replace Gradey in that lineup with Jacoby, and Jacoby wasn't great tonight. He turned it over, just missing shots. They're not great. But an idealized version of Jacoby, like the Jacoby who showed up in the last game, that lineup provides you with the perfect amount of offense, defense, spacing, balance, cutting, everything. And that's really what every lineup is designed to do. When the Warriors went to their death lineup, that's what it was. That's what it was. With Andre Iguodala and Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, like that's what it was. It had a perfect amount of screening, a perfect amount of shooting, a perfect amount of gravity, movement, all of it. And that made things very hard for the defense to guard. And you'll notice that play that I described, where Scotty had the drive on the left side and he kind of gets past his defender. It's only because that defender is lifted guarding Jamison Battle.
Right. But with that lineup, Scotty was on ball. And the difference was just night and day. I love Darko. I love what we're doing, but I don't under this quickly on ball dictating the offense when we have Scotty Barnes who processes the court at such a high level. It's kind of driving me nuts. And this first half, it was just the classic. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? This is Scotty's team. He's the franchise player. Put the ball in his hands. And when the ball was in his hands, that we took over the game. Now, quickly his shooting was great, and we need his shooting. Absolutely.
Sure.
But it was getting the ball into Scotty Barnes' hands is huge. I wanted to make that point, but getting back to Jacoby, his defense is his on-ball defense, his off-ball defense. It's insane. His IQ, it just seems like it's off the charts, and his handle. Perhaps some people might disagree, but I think his handle is looking stellar. He looks like he's been really putting in a lot of work this summer. Jacoby's. I thought his handle the last few games is looking amazing. I just hope he can get through this slump because he could be so big for us, and I really hope he can be a starter one day. And speaking of the starting lineup, I really hope we've got to get CMB in there, man. I know we're not going to rush into a trade, and Bobby and Dan Tolzman, they're going to play this very smartly, as they should. They know what they're doing, but the sooner we can get CMB into the starting lineup, because I think we've got something really special with Scotty, BI, and CMB. I know we've got other callers, and I know there's other things you want to get to. So I'll just my closing thought or point. Jack Armstrong, and I'll concede this. Jack, the last few games, has actually been much better. He's no backhanded compliments for Scotty, I've noticed.
He's your best post player. He has an elite handle. What?
But tonight, him and Sam, I wanted to smash my television. Sam Mitchell, he is so dumb. he kept pushing this, get Scotty in the post, get Scotty in the post. And then Jack Armstrong reverted back to that. And I'm just explaining, I was with my buddy and we were both like, nodding at each other and saying, these guys.
How long have you been a Toronto Raptors fan?
I've been following the Raptors since they played their first game.
Do you want me to give you 81 reasons why Sam Mitchell is a dumbass?
I'm sure you could, but
do you know why I chose the number 81?
No, actually, I don't.
He was the coach during Kobe Bryant's 81-point game. Do you know what his his defensive philosophy was going into that game? We're not going to double Kobe Bryant.
Oh my god.
Kobe.
Yeah.
And
Kobe.
You know who the primary defenders on Kobe Bryant were that game?
I can't remember.
Jalen Rose and Morris Peterson.
Oh my
Lord
God.
help me. This man left his team hung out to dry, possibly the most embarrassing scoring performance in league history. And this dumbass, like honestly, Sam Mitchell drove me absolutely mental. There is no coach in Raptors history that has driven me more insane than Sam Mitchell. I respected Dwayne Casey. Jay Triano's up there too. Those two back to back. Yo, give me 6 years of my life back, bro. This Raptors franchise, like that's why, like, despite the fact that Dwayne Casey did not make a lot of adjustments in the playoffs and had a lot of shortcomings, I was just like, do I really want us to fire Dwayne Casey? So in terms of Raptor coaches, Sam Mitchell is probably my least favorite favorite coach.
Yeah.
Above him is Jay Triano. Above that is probably Butch Carter. Above that is Nick Nurse. Above that is Dwayne Casey. Above that is Kevin O'Neill. And then above that is probably Darko Rajakovic, Lenny Wilkins, somewhere in there.
That's interesting because, sorry to interrupt. That's interesting because Nick Nurse really screwed over this franchise.
Oh, sure.
A lot of people don't talk about that. I'm getting sidetracked, but a lot of people don't talk about that. Like Nick Nurse really set us back. But anyways, just final closing thought. Sorry about that. I really want to see more Jacoby and Battle. I know Mobo's down in the G League, but these guys are our team. This bench mob, like they were playing. These guys were the heart and soul of the team last year, and now they're just kind of sitting around on the bench and with Gradey, getting those so-called NBA politics minutes. I want Gradey to succeed, but at the same time, come on, like we've got Battle on the bench and Jacoby. So, anyways, I'll leave it at that. Thanks a lot, Pen. I appreciate it, and I'll continue to enjoy the show.
My pleasure, man. Thanks a lot for calling in. Appreciate you. See ya. Okay, we got Gradey Brick back. Does your mic work now? What's good?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Beautiful. I just want to apologize for the connection issues earlier. That was completely my bad. It's my first
You are
time
not
doing
forgiven.
this, so.
You are not forgiven. I will hold a grudge on you until the end of time. What's up?
I just wanted to focus on the good rather than the bad today.
Sure.
There's going to be bad games. We're pros, yes, but we can't expect this type of consistency from our basketball team on a day-to-day basis. A win's a win at the end of the day. What is it? 4 back-to-back wins now, and yes, it wasn't pretty, but I think we should be super proud of the grit that we showed tonight, and on top of that, the resilience as well. And also, I just want to talk about Jamison Battle. I think he has proven himself time and time again. Today, yes, he was plus 11 off the bench. He didn't have a point. He missed his one shot, but his presence was felt out there. He missed a shot, but defensively, I feel like he's extremely underrated. And I just feel like he's a good guy to have on the team and to have out there on the court. And he's proven himself time and time again. And I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on that?
Thoughts on what specifically?
Jamison Battle. I mean, everyone's talking.
Well, I love him. I mentioned this earlier, that I was calling for him to get minutes in the second quarter. I've been kind of distressed that he didn't get minutes in the last game. I think he's earned a little bit of faith from this coaching staff that he is a relatively error-free player. He has insane gravity as a shooter. He has a very lightning quick release. He has obviously put in a ton of work in the offseason, and the Toronto Raptors are very lucky to have him. Yeah.
Most definitely. And then I was listening in earlier, and I overheard some hate in regards to Brandon Ingram, and I totally disagree.
Sure.
He's currently leading the league in mid-range percentage.
He is.
And I mean, look at him out there. We needed a player who can take the ball, ISO, and just get a bucket, and we got that. What
Agreed.
more can we ask for? Like he's gonna miss a shot every now and then, right?
Yeah.
He didn't have the perfect game today,
Yep.
nor last game. But I'm just looking at how we closed out today. Like last season, there was so many games where we just couldn't close. I feel like we were a better team on paper than what translated for us throughout the season last season.
Sure.
And we just couldn't close those games by a few points, a few possessions. So just to have this, I think it's refreshing to see as a Raptors fan. So I just wanted to highlight that for everyone that, sometimes it's going to be ugly, but a win's a win at the end of the day.
Sparkling with a really great point here. He said BI also gets a lot of the ball a lot at the end of the shot clock. And that's true. He does get a ton of those bailout grenade shots. And those will impact efficiency always. So when you look at the end of the game and you say, oh, Brandon Ingram went like 6 for 19. It's like, he wasn't guarded like everybody else. He's guarded like a star player is guarded. Number two, I love his playmaking, man. Did you see that full court pass that he threw to Scotty Barnes where he got the reverse?
Most definitely.
BI is such a freaking talented player. And respectfully to Shannon, he said I literally said that about BI. Respectfully, Shannon, I don't think you were hating on Brandon Ingram, but I disagree with your criticism that BI is not a winning player. I think BI is a very winning player, and I'm seeing it here. I'm seeing it, in his work ethic. I'm seeing it in his buy-in. Getting on the glass, committing defensively, guarding Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, he has some really tough defensive possessions. He's not lazy though. He's not just failing to close out. He's not just failing to go, execute the game plan. Like if BI cannot guard Kristaps Porzingis, it is not a matter of will. It is a matter of physics. Okay. And, Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes pick up a lot of fouls early in this game, which, I think luckily, I'm glad that Darko, made that little adjustment towards the end of the second quarter to get Scotty back to the bench, put CMB in, so to avoid Scotty picking up his third foul, which allowed Scotty to be aggressive, right? We just watched the game with the OKC Thunder where Shea had 5 fouls and he became a defensive liability the minute he had 5 fouls. There's plenty of plays. If Shannon was saying like there's plenty of plays with Scotty getting beat defensively. Dude, watch the game again. There were a couple of plays where Scotty didn't get a proper defensive rebound or didn't contest at the rim. Those were when he had 2 fouls at the end of the second quarter. There was a play where, he got beat backdoor. There was a game, there is a possession where he gave up an offensive rebound because he failed to make the close. He failed to make the box out. I see all of these plays, but it would be crazy to take a player like what I consider hating. And again, this is when I say like the tape should be reflective of the game, right? If I see a player who makes 150 great decisions on defense and then makes 5 bad decisions on defense, and I put those 5 decisions on display, I would consider that hating. Now, if I want to go through this entire game and I want to nitpick every single RJ Barrett mistake defensively or every Emmanuel Quickley mistake defensively, I could probably give a 2-hour session slowed down and explained. I'm not going to do that, but I think that the tape was fair. And that's where I disagree with the initial charge that the tape was not fair. Did Brandon Ingram get beat defensively? Of course. Did Gradey Brick get whooped defensively? Yes. Did Jacoby get beat defensively? Yes. Everyone got beat defensively. But defense is not a one-on-one thing. Defense is a 5-on-5 thing. And very often a player is overtasked, over-leveraged because somebody else didn't do their job. And very consistently, we as analysts have to figure out where is the guy who is not doing his job? Where is the guy who broke a chain of good decisions into one bad decision? There was a play where Gradey goes for a gamble. So I think you remember it because the broadcasters actually brought it out, which I was like, thank God for Sam Mitchell and, Jack Armstrong actually bringing this out. Gradey has a very, very tough finish on the offensive end. He gambles on a drive. I think it was Dyson Daniels, which leaves Scotty Barnes exposed to be the late rotation at the rim. Scotty fouls. That play is created and Gradey went right to the bench right after that play. And that play is created because Gradey leaves his man to beat him at the basket. You're not very good at gambling. The first play when Gradey got into the game, he fouled Jalen Johnson on a drive. Now, the first offensive play, he hits a three. So people will focus on the three and be like, Gradey had a great game. Gradey did not have a great game. Gradey had an okay game. Gradey continues to be a defensive liability. And if he's not going to hit shots, he's useless. I'm not even trying to be rude about it. If he can't hit his shots right now, finishing at the rim is obviously, it was a challenge last year. It remains a challenge this year. He just doesn't have a ton of strength and physicality. Post defense is an immediate double. You have to double immediately. It doesn't matter if he has a wing, a guard, or a big on him. He has no strength in the post to deal with those types of matchups. So really, if he is also going to be a nightmare, turnstile on the perimeter, well, then he's frankly he's giving up 3 points for every 3 points he's getting. So it is a really, really tough thing with Gradey. The Raptors really need Jacoby to emerge, and he has. And in fairness to Gradey and Jacoby and whatever, none of them have been good. Ochai has been out of the rotation. Did he play tonight? He did not play tonight.
No.
So Ochai is in the doghouse. He got the first crack, and he shot 9% from three, and he's in the doghouse.
Yeah, and just going back to the BI thing, I mean, he sat out all last season.
That's not true.
Well, majority of it.
For us, he sat out.
Yeah,
he played, I think, 18 or 19 games for New Orleans, and he was healthy enough to play. I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, but he's coming on to a new team, and again, I just want to preface this, we just got to give our guys some grace. We're I feel like we're performing well. We've got a great team, and we're making progress, and that's all we can ask for sometimes. Just progress. I would love to see Battle out a bit sooner off the bench. Especially tomorrow. I think he's proven himself. Would love to see him in some first quarter action. And I think he can make an impact, especially in these NBA Cup games where these points really matter. But I just want to thank you. Thank you for having me out here.
My pleasure, man. Thanks a lot for calling in. Appreciate you.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Peace, man. All right. The Toronto Raptors face off against the Philadelphia 76ers tomorrow. We will see who the Sixers have going. But I will let you know that the Raptors are not favored to win the game tomorrow night. Back-to-backs are tough, especially when you're in a dogfight. So tomorrow will be, in my opinion, the first real test of the season. Now, as I mentioned, the Toronto Raptors are above 500 for the first time since April 4th, 2023. That is freaking amazing. Okay, that's awesome. I am very, very happy about that. But now you got to keep it. And you have, I want to say, relatively an easy schedule coming up. You've got some winnable games. You must maximize. You cannot let this go. You have to maximize this 100%. You have to maximize this, and you have to get these games, and you have to build up a bit of a lead. You don't know what's going to happen later. There could be injuries. There could be, blown calls late in the game. You're going to lose 2 games. I always say this about every season. There's 5 games you should have won that you're going to lose. There's 5 games that you should have lost that you're going to win. I don't know if the Raptors have already won a couple games that they probably should have lost, right? That Cleveland game probably should have lost. This game, you probably should have lost. Both, ironically, were NBA Cup games. So I don't know. My view on this is pretty simply that the Toronto Raptors need to keep stacking wins. The Eastern Conference is relatively wide open. And I think the Raptors have a chance, as good a chance as anybody else, to make a run in this Eastern Conference. And I would like to see them, climb to the top. And you know what? Let me say this. I watch a lot of NBA content. I watch a lot of podcasts. Everyone's talking about the Bulls because the Bulls started out 5-0, even though they lost the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, if I'm not mistaken, right? Everyone's talking about the Bucks because they're off to the surprising start. Everyone's talking about the Sixers because they're off to a surprising start, and Tyrese Maxey's playing well. Nobody is talking about the Raptors right now. Nobody. People are talking about the Knicks because OG Anunoby playing really well. People are talking about the Orlando Magic because they were very disappointing. Why is nobody talking about this Toronto Raptors team that has 3 players averaging 20, efficient 20? I mean, after tonight, I don't know if they'll be efficient, but whatever. BI and Scotty had a very Scotty and RJ had some tough, possessions tonight. But you grinded out a win on your defense. You grinded out a win on your playmaking and your toughness and your transition and your scheme and your depth, frankly, your depth, right? Let's not even don't get copyrighted, boss. Appreciate you looking out for me, man. So if the Raptors, suddenly start to climb the standings a little bit, I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me just look at the standings real quick. Let me just look at the standings here. The Toronto Raptors, sorry, my New York came out there, are 5-4. They are tied for 7th with the Miami Heat. They are number 1 in their group for the group stage. So by the way, you have now beat the only two really tough teams in your group for the NBA Cup. So the rest of these 2 games should be a cakewalk. And you have also handed a loss in the process to the 2 best teams. So at worst, and also, by the way, you've won both of your games by double digits. So you have a plus 21 net differential in the group stage. Hold on. I feel like, let me just pull this off for a second. I need to show y'all this. One sec. We will get back to Darko Rajakovic and the post-game stuff. So these are our standings after tonight. Obviously some games still in progress, but most of the games still in progress are all both games in progress are Western Conference blowouts. OKC, Denver are ahead, but these are our standings after tonight. Ironically, the Raptors walked into tonight tied 4-4 with the Atlanta Hawks. So that win moves you past them into the 8th spot. That 8th spot you share, or 7th spot you share with the Miami Heat, who, by the way, everyone's talking about the Miami Heat. Oh, the Miami Heat are so great. Well, the Miami Heat, I believe they lost tonight. Did they lose? No, they won. They beat the Charlotte Hornets tonight. So the Miami Heat are 5-4. The Raptors are 5-4. So the tie is broken. So initially walking into today, 4-4, 4-4, 4-4. A bunch of teams were 4-4. The Raptors are ahead of the Orlando Magic. Interesting. The Raptors are ahead of the Boston Celtics, the Indiana Pacers. So the Raptors are in like the official middle of the pack. You're in the middle of the Eastern Conference. Now you have a game against the Philadelphia 76ers, who, if you hand them a loss tomorrow, you catapult yourself into a play-in spot. Now take that play-in spot, consider the fact that you've had one of the toughest schedules to start the year. Double consider the fact that you have about a top 5 easiest schedule for the rest of the year, and just hold on to that 6th spot. Go 6th, 5th, 4th, but don't ever go down. Don't let anybody who's behind you catch up. And honestly, obviously, Orlando is going to play better basketball. They're going to play better basketball. Miami is going to play better basketball. These are teams that are missing players. Atlanta is missing Trae Young. Boston obviously is missing. They're missing Jason Tatum. He's not coming back. I don't think the Bulls are going to maintain this pace. I don't know if Milwaukee can maintain this pace. I think New York is probably underperforming a little bit right now. Detroit is number 1 in the Eastern Conference. They have been winning, and Cade Cunningham has been incredible. In fourth quarters, I think he's averaging like 12 points per game in the fourth quarter. His passing has been on another level. He started out really, really rough. So if I'm the Raptors, I am looking at this as an opportunity to, let's do it, man. Let's get there. Hold on. I'm just going to look at the NBA Cup standings. 1 second, just to show y'all where the Raptors stand. Give this video a like, please, if you can. I would very, very much appreciate it. We put in good work. We did 2 lives yesterday, one on John Morant. And after the post-game interview with, Marstock Sports saying team is fun to watch. Shut us, man. Today was not so fun to watch. Today was a friggin' panic attack. But yes, this team is good. Okay. East. Group A. The Toronto Raptors are 2-0. They have a differential of 23. The Cavaliers are 1-1. They also have a point differential of 23, which is worth noting in case you lose your next game. Now, the teams you have not faced so far are the Pacers and the Wizards. You can beat the Pacers and the Wizards. No disrespect to either of those teams. The Pacers are dealing with a slew of injuries. They're going to continue to deal with a slew of injuries. Andrew Demhart is out. TJ McConnell is out. Benedict Mathurin is out. So if you can't deal with fucking Pascal Siakam and Jay Huff, I got different issues. And the Wizards are an awful team. They have a net differential of -34. You should not sleep on that team, obviously. But from this point on, the Toronto Raptors control their own destiny. And just by the way, I will let you know, there's a huge financial incentive for this team to do well in the play-in. They have one of the youngest rosters in the league. The Raptors do. They have a ton of veteran minimum players. Mamu is not rich by NBA standards. Mamu is not rich. Jacoby is not rich as a 19th overall pick. Jamison Battle, undrafted guy, not rich. These guys all have a huge incentive to get to the play-in. That's a $50,000 bonus, whether you win or lose. Now, if you win, it goes up to about, I think it's like 100. And then if you make the next round, it's like a 150. And then if you win the whole thing, it's like north of $500,000. $500,000. Dude, I know none of us can really empathize with NBA salaries, or most of us can't. I'm sure there's some very rich people in here who can empathize with NBA salaries, but most of us can't. And I'm rooting for this team because they're a very young team. And I'm sure BI, Scotty, RJ can probably take IQ. The guys who've been paid can kind of look at their younger teammates and be like, let's go get this one for them. You know, let me not be the reason that Jamison Battle doesn't get $500,000. Let me play for my teammates. I really love this NBA Cup format. I didn't love it at first, but I was open to it. I never slammed it. I never said, oh, this is stupid. Because as Mars knows, I like to approach things with intellectual curiosity. Shout outs to Mars. So the way I'm looking at this is a good thing for the league. This has been a positive. This has been a huge success. I have a lot of issues with the gambling and all the stuff that Adam Silver has implemented into the league. But the NBA Cup and the play-in tournament have been a hit for me. Okay, let's get to Darko Rajakovic, and I will put the subscriber screen up, and then we will get to Coach Mo. So this call-in show is going to continue on and on, apparently forever. And eventually, if I have a little bit of time, if the Coach Mo conversation doesn't go too long, I'm going to share my amended thoughts on Ja Morant, because I've had a little bit of a change of heart on Ja Morant since my yesterday live. And Pepperjack just gifted 10 PENSARE Basketball memberships to one of the 489 people in here. So shout outs to Pepperjack for his continuous generosity. And shout outs to Pepperjack. You are the reason, dude, that we have 190 members right now. I hope some of the people that get memberships continue on with their memberships. I know some of you will, some of you can't, and that's okay. If you want to pay it forward, if you're someone who got a free membership and you want to pay it forward, if you want to keep the generosity going, you can always, when you're in the chat on YouTube, you can always highlight a person that you want to give a membership to. If you want to specifically give a membership to someone, you can right click on them and say, that person, I want to gift that person a membership. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they haven't thought about it. You can always gift somebody a membership. So that's actually really, really cool. So, Gregory saying supporter of the year. Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get to Darko Rajakovic, and then we will get to Coach Mo. I don't know who I'm listening. I don't know who I'm more interested to hear their thoughts. Is it Coach Mo or is it Coach Darko? But let's listen to Coach Darko first.
And just the energy that your group came out with in the second half. What was the conversation during halftime that really put on that switch?
Well, we talked at the halftime that we did not play to our standard that first half, and that we can do much better. We just wanted to focus in the second half and fix that. Things that we talked about game plan wise and how we want to play an offensive end. So it was good to see that the team responded and that we were able to play much better in the second half.
You've talked about never having a doubt in Emmanuel's abilities, but when you string together what the last two games have looked like for him, what has impressed you the most about his performances?
Absolutely nothing. This is what I know that he brings every single day. I see every day how much he works. He's playing well now, and I have absolute trust in his decision making and shooting ability there. So nothing really impresses me there. I expect this from him.
And then just to see the difference between Scotty first half and second, RJ as well. Were there any tweaks on offense that you guys were making to allow the ball to not stick as much as it did in the first half?
We did much better job in the fourth quarter, scoring 36 points, but also defense was the one that was creating opportunities for us. We made a couple of tweaks there defensively, how we wanted to guard some of their pick and roll actions in isolations. And, they did not shoot the ball well. We did a solid job of, converting those opportunities on the other side. Still, we got to do much better job rebounding the ball. Their 19 offensive rebounds is way too much.
And then Gradey as well. You talked about, when guys come off the bench, it's a different adjustment for them considering the minutes he got last year. But in the minutes that he's made for himself, what have you liked in terms of the energy that he's brought to the floor?
Brought great energy. He's a floor spacer. He was taking great threes there on the floor. He was fighting defensively. He was in right spots. I thought that he played really good game today.
And then with this game, when you think about Colin taking and making that three, is there more of a green light with him with the offensive mindset? I know defensively is where his mind usually lives, but just with what he's been able to take on the floor, are you encouraging that a lot more?
He has green light to shoot the ball when he's open.
That starting group, I guess, had a pretty good run at the end of the game. I think it's the second straight game they've had a positive plus minus after the start of the year was a little wobbly. Do you feel like that's coming together a little more with those five?
And yes, it just takes time. We are still learning like how to play off of each other, to read the game and to see where our advantages are and where we need to attack and how to attack. Today, we were able to find RJ in certain actions, and RJ was the one that was creating extra punch for us there offensively. I thought that Scotty in second half, especially in that fourth quarter, was outstanding with the force that he played with and taking the ball to the rim. And then Brandon is like really good in when he has a preferable matchup of getting those shots and then getting to his spot and being very efficient from there.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys tried to get him on that left elbow a few times into like his office there.
Yes, we did. Yes. He's the player. He just needs the ball in his hands, and we'll have to take a look at the film and then figure out our spacing. There were a couple of situations that we were overloaded and we did not see some simple decisions, simple passes. So that's going to be good film for us to learn from tomorrow.
With that starting five, like when you close a game, I guess to go with Yak or not with Yak, what's involved in that decision?
I mean, thank God we have very good team and deep team, and that just allows us different solutions. You know, today I thought that Sandro was really good, and he was creating good spacing for us when he was on the floor. He's also really competing and fighting and guarding the ball and improving rebounding. That was really important for us. And we were still finding Jakov's rhythm, you know, after losing some time and a couple of games, finding his rhythm of coming back.
Okay, shout outs to Darko Rajakovic. I apologize. If you would like to hear Gradey Brick's press conference, you can definitely go check that out. Coach Mo, what up? Also, welcome to Larry Kane. Shout outs to Larry, Canadian legend, athlete. Larry, amazing. And some of the OGs of this chat will remember Larry calling in. Hope to hear from Larry at some point this year, but shout outs to Larry, doing great work. And thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for becoming a baller. And big shout out again to Pepperjack for giving out 10 memberships. Anyways, Coach Mo, what up?
That first half was, I was like, man, all this momentum. Did you feel like you jinxed Scotty? Did you feel like the Pensare curse kicked in?
Yep.
Yeah,
I did. You know, at halftime, I made a one good decision and one bad decision. So I'm very lucky. I live in you know, there's this condo building that I live in, which is like close to like a couple of other condos, and in the middle of the condos, there's actually a convenience store. And at that convenience store, unfortunately, they have started to sell wine and beer and liquor. So at halftime, I went down to the gym to get, you know, 10 minutes into the gym, you know, to work off some stress from that first half. And then I saw the convenience store open and I was like, you know what, with the way the Raptors are playing, I need some fucking wine. So yeah, I'm having my second glass of red wine like a frigging 48-year-old divorcee. Jesus fucking Christ. Lance Scott saying wine rob is vibes. I would like to say that sober me is very vibes as well. Also, I will let you know that I have an insane alcohol tolerance. I once inhaled 500 milliliters of 70 proof alcohol and was sober enough to get into a club. So I don't know if it's Serbian genes, but I have insane alcohol tolerance. But that being said, you know, wine will always chill me out a little bit. Yeah.
We turned it around in the second half. I was kind of hoping. I was like, man, I miss Trae Young. Watching them play defense in that first half, I was like, I miss Trae Young. God, do I miss that guy? Because half the time we play him, he's wearing our jersey. That first caller was interesting because I'm like, I don't know what he was watching, but dude, when they're guarding Brandon Ingram, they're like fouling him before he even catches the ball. They're sweating bullets.
I agree.
It's not even. They're not even worried about. Whatever. I'm not even gonna get into that.
Yo, I'm used to Scotty slander across Raptors land, but I feel like I draw a line at Brandon Ingram slander to some extent. I have to. Like, I'm just like, how much of this am I willing to take? If there are two players on this team, if there are three players really on this team, let me give a shout out to Shannon. If there are three players who are, let me give four players. If there are four players who are relatively above criticism so far this year, it's Sandro, BI, Scotty, and RJ for the most part. Okay. That being said, that doesn't mean Brandon Ingram's perfect, doesn't mean Scotty's perfect, doesn't mean Sandro's perfect, doesn't mean RJ's perfect, and we have to call out their bad moments. We have to. So I understand what Shannon was saying, that hey, like, could you also call out some of Scotty's bullshit on offense in the first half where he was passive and just throwing the ball?
All stunk it up in the first half, so it's like a blank slate.
Yeah,
there's no point in nitpicking when everyone laid an egg. It's like burn the tapes. First half, burn the tapes.
Respect to Sandro. Sandro hooped out in the first half.
Yeah. You mentioned something that was interesting where you were like, IQ is going to suck in the playoffs. Bro, if he doesn't change his mentality, because I found something interesting watching the prior game, that Bucks game, when there was a blowout, I saw something very interesting. There was a lineup on the court at the end of the third when the game was basically, it looked like we were going to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the lineup on the court was IQ, it was Gradey, it was Jacoby, it was CMB, and it was Mamu. Right. And the game was over. You know what IQ? I could see it in his body language. You know what IQ was thinking? Oh, me time. Okay. Let me get some numbers. And he tried, and it didn't happen. There was a possession where he held the ball. You know how he just stops his dribble and then he just throws it back out, and then he runs back and says, "Give me the ball," and they didn't give him the ball.
Yeah, I remember that possession.
And we scored. And it's like, dude, relax. Like, you forcing it is getting us. Do you remember when you talked about the Fred VanVleet, Jakob Poeltl pick and roll will give us nothing when it matters?
Yep.
Let me tell you something. That IQ Jakob pick and roll will give us nothing when it matters. If he cannot execute pick and rolls right now, he's not executing pick and rolls in the playoffs.
Fair.
That is as fair as I can be. Because there are great scorers who get off in the regular season, come playoffs, they can't get it done. If you can't get it done now with your decision making, he needs to be off the ball. And he can be very good off the ball. Right?
Yeah.
You could argue he's the worst passer of the starting five.
Easily.
Yes.
What?
Why does he have the ball in his hands?
Is he a worse passer than Jakob?
Yes, he is.
That's the hard sell for me.
Because Jakob makes quicker decision, and he makes the right decision more often. And at least with Jakob, since he's a big, he's not going to dribble. At least the ball moves. At least the ball moves. But we're back at the same dilemma with Fred. You remember how it was like he's our best shooter, and it's like we need spacing. But how can our best shooter space the floor if he always has the ball? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right? But we can be really good. We can actually be really good. And our only route to being really good is the ball cannot be in IQ's hands. Not much. And I'm not even being mean.
In respect to Emmanuel quickly, though, the pull-up jump shooting is still real.
Yes,
and
when they fall back.
Yes.
He has to be an opportunistic scorer. He has to be the shooting version of RJ.
Right.
He's not creating anything, but he has to destroy them when they help off our two best players. His job has to be make Barnes and Ingram's job easier. And here's my thing. Where's IQ in the pecking order?
He should be fourth.
Okay, let me ask you something. Did OKC worry about their fourth option? Did anybody care what the fourth option did?
Respect Alex Caruso.
No, but I'm asking you. We need to get Alex Caruso going.
And I'm
You ever
telling
heard
you,
that
respect
statement?
Alex Caruso.
No, I'm asking you. Did anybody say we need to get Alex Caruso going?
No.
Let's run a play for Alex
all,
Caruso. I'm going to ask you another question.
They also weren't paying Alex Caruso $31 million, $32 million.
I agree.
So
I agree.
That's,
Okay, so
that's more of
you're
a
gonna double down on the mistake.
compounding issues. Yeah.
You're going to double down on that mistake.
Yep. I don't know. I think
There's only one route here, Rob. We know what that route is. We're just going to see if it's going to happen. Here's another thing. What do you feel about this? Okay, Gradey, go in there for 5 minutes. Okay, next quarter, Gradey, get your little 3 minutes, 4 minutes in here. Okay, Jacoby, you go and get your little 2-3 minutes here. And then randomly, okay, Battle, you go in there and get your little 2-3 minutes. At some point, because it looks like Ochai's in the doghouse. Okay.
good.
You can't play 100 shooting guards. Okay. You gotta pick a few, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gradey, Jacoby, and Battle. At some point, one guy has to sit. You can't play all three in these little 2-3 minute spurts because you need a rotation. At some point, you need a rotation.
Okay. I'll play ball on this.
Okay.
How would you feel about a lineup of Gradey, Jacoby, Battle, plus Scotty, plus CMB? This is an interesting experiment in like how much space can you guard and how can CMB and Scotty attack that space. I think defensively you're fucked with that lineup. But Jacoby's a dog. He can guard point of attack. Scotty and CMB can cover up a ton of space on the weak side. I don't hate it. It's actually better than some of the lineups that they've been playing. But generally, I agree with you. I just don't. Okay, here's the thing. There's certain players which are, I call them X out players. Like X out lineups for me are like 2 or 3 players that cannot play together. So Gradey, RJ, just for defense,
Yeah,
just
I agree.
not a good idea. Jacoby, Ochai, kind of just, you know, redundancy a little bit, too much roster overlap and redundancy.
Yeah.
Emmanuel quickly, Jamal Shed.
Yeah, don't need it.
Don't need it. Too much redundancy. So like Darko's gone to the double point lineup many times last season and a couple times this season already, and I don't love it. It's just you're too undersized and there's really no need for it. Jakob CMB can also be a little bit troubling at times, which kind of points to a larger issue, which is if CMB is eventually going to make starter, like what does that mean for Jakob Poeltl? Because it's like, I know Scotty is shooting like 40 whatever the fuck percent from 3, but he is not guarded like even a 32% 3-point shooter right now. So yeah, and RJ, you know, he can shoot whatever the fuck he wants from 3. Teams still go under on him.
Yeah.
Again, there's like a couple players on this team that teams can't go under on. Brandon Ingram. I know they went under a couple times. One time they went under on Gradey. One time they went under on IQ. Immediate pay.
Yeah.
You can't go under on Gradey, IQ. I don't think you should ever go under on Jamison Battle. I don't think you should ever go under on Jacoby. I don't think you should ever go under on Sandro. I think you need 2 of those guys on the court at the same time, and I think you need 2 positive defenders at the same time. To be honest, I think what we're both describing here is this roster doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. They're 5-4, so we're going to gloss over it. We're not going to talk about it, but this roster doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think a player like Lauri Markkanen would make a lot of sense here. So my question to you right now is, number 1, how do you feel about Lauri? Number 2, how do you feel about John Morant? Because we had a lively discussion about like John Morant on this channel, and then I nearly fucking lost my mind today on the panel about John Morant. And right now, I'm having a very different feeling about John Morant than I was having yesterday.
We need him on the low. We need that Kawhi Leonard deal. You know?
We need something better than the Kawhi Leonard deal, bro. We're not trading him. We're not trading a multi-time All-Star because we don't have a multi-time All-Star.
No. I mean, like we need that discount. We need that hood discount,
bro.
You know?
He hood discounted. He is. You know. He. Oh no, you ever buy FUBU jeans?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we need the FIBU discount.
Yeah, you need
we-
that
we need-
discount. Your homeboy works at the store,
Bro,
and he's
you
giving you the employee discount and the hood discount.
and he's stealing like extra laces for you on the
Yeah,
side
yeah.
and giving you the free insurance. Okay. Did you ever buy bootleg shit?
Yes, of course.
So here's the thing. I grew up real poor, and one time my mom bought me Nikes, right? I never had like name brand shoes growing up, and I honestly, dumbass, 12-year-old me was so dumb that I thought the reason that I'm not getting girls right now, and I subsequently started getting girls right after I turned 13. But I thought the reason that I'm not getting girls is not the acne, it's not the social awkwardness, is because I don't have good enough shoes. Because all the dudes who were getting shoes, who were getting girls, had really great shoes. So I asked my mom, give me Nike shoes, man. I need Nike shoes so the girls would pay attention to me. And she got me Nick Airs, bro. Nick Airs. Too cheap to put in the extra E. So Nick Airs. And then I show up to school and bro, they noticed that I was missing an E. So, they huddled around me and be like, yo, bro, what's up? Like, you missing an E. And, God bless my friend Neil. He stuck up for me. He's like, nah, that's what they call Nike in Europe. they missing the E in Europe, bro. So
Yeah, they say it with an accent.
we need the Nick Air discount. That's what I'm gonna call it for John Morant.
Those shoes didn't crease properly, did they? They're like cardboard.
Yeah, for sure. I would tell you the first time it rained, bro. Those shoes were done. Those shoes were fucked. I was trying not to walk too hard because it's like every time I walked, the creases were starting to show. I'm like, bro, where did they fucking make these shoes? It's a trash ass shoe. Yeah. So yesterday I spent a live breaking down the pros and cons of John Morant, and I've kind of talked myself into the idea that maybe trading for John Morant might be a good idea. I just love Ja, and I'm trying to be objective about it, but I just cannot stop. Like today, I was on the panel, and this is going to be a sensitive topic, but I'm going to say this: Did you end up checking out the panel today? Did anyone give me a W in the chat if you saw the panel today? And we were talking about John Morant for 2 hours, and a lot of people were like kind of ripping Ja to shreds for his post game comments after the game where Tomas Isolo ripped into him, and I don't know. I just got into my head a little bit, and I just started getting upset. Like I got upset with how they're talking about Ja, and he didn't really say anything disrespectful. He said, "Ask the coaching staff." Just ask the coaching staff. Like it's childish, it's teenage, but it's not like he told them go fuck themselves. And it's just like a part of me is just like, man, we have turned around an unhappy RJ Barrett, an unhappy BI. If we could turn around an unhappy Ja Morant, he might be like the best point guard that we've had here since Kyle Lowry, 2016 Lowry.
Here, what I don't understand about Memphis is it's almost like, okay, John Morant, you used to be our franchise player. Our franchise player now is our coach. He's our franchise player.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And typically in this new era, it's the star before, it's the star at the top. They said, no, it's the coach. And Taylor Jenkins, I mean, it seemed like he was doing a good job to me. And now it's all falling apart. I don't think that was a great decision.
Right.
Because it hasn't gotten any better.
Right.
Who knows? It's from what it looks like, Taylor Jenkins was holding it all together with glue.
Yeah. I mean, I think Taylor is a really respected coach. And when you fire a really respected coach, bring in a European coach, and it doesn't work, I think a lot of people justifiably are going to look at the star player who didn't get along with that coach and, maybe pushed for that coach to be out, and maybe look at that player a little bit like, I don't know, like I feel like certain players, their reputation can get destroyed, and then the perception around their careers can become slightly distorted. If you look at what happened with Dwight Howard and Stan Van Gundy, right? The reputation of a coach killer it's a tough reputation to overcome, especially when the coach that you have quote unquote killed is very well liked or very well respected, right? So I don't know.
Here's my dilemma with the John Morant trade. Okay, I'm not opposed as long as it's at a reasonable price. We're not overpaying. We're not
Right.
overpaying because it's a your problem for my problem. You know what I mean? But if we do get Ja, what we can't, you can't have Bi, Scotty, and Ja and have Yakapurta as the center. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
So he gotta go. Because we're gonna need a stretch 5 at all times. Because Ja is not a good shooter. Neither is Scotty. He's not respected. So what are you gonna have? 3 non-shooters? Or at least defended as non-shooters? That's not gonna work. That's my problem with the Ja Morant trade. My Ja Morant trade issue is Yakapurta.
Okay. So here's my question. What if you could get Santi Aldama in the same trade?
And then
How many picks are you adding to that?
So, okay, Aldama and Ja. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. You'll get picks if you take Yak and IQ.
What if
then you're getting picks?
Okay, so what if it is Ja Morant, Scotty Barnes, Santi Aldama, Brandon Ingram, and CMB? Does that lineup make sense basketball-wise? Ja at the 1 to get your paint penetration. I don't know if his point of attack defense will be up to snuff. I keep rolling this clip just to show y'all that Ja's a good guy. There are plenty of clips, y'all. You can listen to videos of this dude. Like, I followed Ja's career since high school, okay? He's an underrated dude from Murray State. I love Ja Morant. I told y'all yesterday, I love Ja Morant. That's my bias. I love Ja Morant. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. I love Ja. I'm rooting for Ja more than any person you know is rooting for Ja right now. Outside of Memphis, there ain't no one in Canada who's rooting for Ja more than I am right now. I understand a lot of his shit is self-inflicted. I understand all of that. I actually know a couple of people very close to Ja. And I will tell you, he not happy in Memphis, number 1. And number 2, his teammates love him. His teammates have always loved him, right? Justin T saying coming back to the handshake is a nice act. It is, and it shows empathy. You know what else shows empathy? His work in the community. You know what else shows empathy? His work building courts in Memphis, giving back to South Carolina. He has done everything, okay? Everything in his power to be a great dude. You know, he's a joyous player. He's not playing with joy right now. So yeah, like Ja plus CMB plus Scotty is tough in terms of spacing. But when you get to the playoffs, the constant paint threat that Ja can be, at least motivated Ja Morant, hypothetically, can be. Plus, how do you guard Scotty plus BI when you got Ja Morant on the floor? Like, to me, this is like you have a legitimate big 3.
Okay, my question here is, where's RJ? Where'd he go?
He probably went in the trade the other way, and Shannon unfortunately crashed out and went with him.
Okay, so okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But Jakob, they're gonna have to take Jakob and IQ. If you want picks, you got to take those 2 contracts. You got to. It's a non-starter for me because if you're doing this Ja Morant trade and you're gonna sell him while his value is low, you're not trying to compete. You're really not. It's over in Memphis.
Yeah. I mean, you get a starting center in Yakapurto, you get a starting point guard in Emmanuel Quickly. Obviously,
Rob.
Bro, we trying to sell it. We're trying to sell it. 32 million starting point guard Emmanuel Quickly. We're trying to sell it.
No, what you need to tell him is trade JJJ, trade Triple J, and go all in. Go all in on this draft. Turn it around. Listen, that grit, what do they call it?
Grit and grind.
Grit and grind? No. What was the name of the new version of Grit and Grind? You know, Whoop That Trick, that crew. Okay, we're gonna call them the Whoop That Trick era. It's over. Your Triple J's gonna stand there by himself. Remember that meme of Will Smith at the end where he looks at the empty house and all his friends. Yeah, that's Triple J. He's like, get me out too.
I don't think Triple J got that. I don't think Triple J is good enough to be like, get me out of here. I think he's more in the Bam Adebayo class of player where it's like, you should be thankful you franchise player right now.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, every team got to have a 20-point per game scorer, and Triple J can hold them over. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see how this Ja situation will pan out. Obviously, I don't love the fit in Toronto, given the number of weak shooters that we already have. But, you know, as I was listening to the panel today discuss Ja Morant and talking about him like he's a gangster and a bad guy, I'm just like, this is not the Ja Morant that I've heard about. This is not the Ja Morant that I've heard through his, you know, through his people, through the trainers and through the people who've actually met him, know him. He's a big kid, bro. Like he's just a big kid. You know, he's a loving teammate. He's a good family man. He's a good father. He's a good community guy. And you know, he's made some really dumbass mistakes. He's had a lot of emotional things. But who the fuck am I to say? You know, have I not crashed out of collars? And I'm a grown man. Like I'm 37 years old, and I still crash out on occasion. So I have to have a lot of empathy in this case and just say, you know what? Toxic environments breed toxic situations, breed toxic results. I think the Raptors would be a great place for Ja. I think Toronto would be a horrible place for Ja in terms of like the media. Bro, if this media got a problem with Scotty's behavior.
Scotty gonna get that shade. Scotty's gonna get that shade.
I mean, shit. They'll be saying like Ja Morant allegedly part of the Crips. Ja Morant involved in gangster activities because he, you know, just did a West Side shit.
Don't let Ja and Scotty become best friends. Ooh.
They would become best friends immediately.
And then
immediately.
You know what the media's gonna say?
What's Scotty part of a set? Scotty part of a gang? They doing shoot ups. They doing
Scotty comes in. Scotty comes in the start of next season with a tattoo, with his first tattoo.
Coach Mo, I have never asked you. Are you black, right?
Yes.
Have you felt a little bit of a weirdness around how this media space treats African Americans?
Yeah. Yeah.
Me too. I feel it. 100% feel it. I've always felt that. You know, like it's just, especially African Americans who refuse to code switch. Like it can be a little bit strange. You know, it's different when it's Fred VanVleet. You know, guys who are willing to play ball. You know, give you the answers in the verbiage that you would like the answers. But sometimes it can be a little bit weird in terms of how they interpret behavior that is completely, you know. And AG saying racist undertone. It is a racist undertone because what is racism? I feel like this word is tossed around way too often. You having an issue with a black person is not racist. You having an issue with a white person is not racist. You having an issue with a black person because of them being black is racist. That is the racism element of it. If you see, like, to give you an example, Tyler Hansbrough, total bully, right? Total bully, right? Just like fucking knocking people out left and right. You consider that an enforcer. But when a black player does it, you call him a thug. If that is the verbiage switch, enforcer has a positive connotation. Thug has a negative connotation. I've studied enough linguistic bias and stuff to catch into these undertones. So yes, so you know, it's not shocking. The Toronto media is very white. This is why we support on this channel. We support Mike Roach. This is why we support Kayla Gray. This is why we support all people of color, really. And I'm not even trying to make it a racial thing. It just so happens that the people of color in the Toronto Raptors media space happen to do a lot of great work. Shout out to Javon Shepherd. I've actually met Javon when I was 16, 17 years old. He was a great player in Canadian basketball.
He's good. Kayla Gray.
Javon nearly dunked on my ass in high school, so I ran out of the way. But yeah, like and Kayla Gray is great.
Kayla Gray. I just want to say, I'm disappointed in chat. Chat's like, wait, Coach Mo's black, bro. I'm dark skinned, B. Like, I'm actually dark too. I'm not even light skinned, chat. I'm not even light skinned.
Draco squirts blood. Racism isn't always bad, Pen. Please explain yourself. Please explain yourself, sir. I need to hear this. Please explain yourself. I need to hear this. I need to hear this. If you want to call and explain to me what the positive sides of racism are, didn't mean it in a bad way. I'm not putting you out. Just let me know how racism isn't bad. please let me know why judging people by the color of their skin is ever good. Can you point to a part where it's been good? Kayla got the TV it factor. Kayla is a very beautiful person, and I'm not saying this as a physical comment on her appearance. I'm saying this as just like her energy is very beautiful. Kayla is like one of my favorite people in Raptors media history. She's amazing.
What happened to Savannah Hamilton? She just vanished, huh?
She did. One time I was on the subway and I bumped into, you wouldn't guess it, Norma Wick. You remember Norma Wick?
Name is familiar, very familiar.
Yeah. And I was talking to her and I was like, Norma, what's good, man?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You remember her?
Yes, I do.
So we had like a 5-minute conversation and she said, she's like, yeah, I'm following the Raptors. Raptors are great. She's like, but they haven't won since I left. And I'm like, you're damn right they haven't.
She retired?
No, she I think she went and did something else. Draco Squirts Blood, the person who said racism is always bad, said, I basically meant that people should be with their own kind. That goes for everybody. I feel there's a lot of violence with different races against each other. So Draco, I fundamentally disagree with you. I think people should absolutely break bread with other races, other cultures, other sexualities. I think diversity is very good, not in the token diversity sense, but real diversity, age diversity. If your group of people is all people who look exactly like you, who grew up exactly like you, you're probably not getting good ideas. I think your group needs to be full of people who didn't grow up how you grew up, didn't grow up where you grew up, didn't grow up in the same economic bracket, because everybody misses a little bit of information culturally. And I think it's very good. Diversity is very good. And again, not token diversity, not a black person, a white person, an Asian person all grew up in the exact same socioeconomic bracket, went to the same exact fucking high school. Let's hire all three of them. No, not those three people. I'm talking like pure, like actual diversity. I remember for Penn Dance, one time we did a Black History Month for Penn Dance, because Penn Dance happens to be every year. Penn Dance is always in Black History Month. And we did the last tree, and we did a giveaway with a Scarborough film group. And we had people showing up to the Tiff Bell light box that had pants down to their knees, bro, and were wearing like big jerseys. And you could see the staff.
What year was it?
This was 2020.
Wow. Still doing that. Respect.
Yeah. And you could see like people were uncomfortable as hell, with that many people walking. Because Tiff Bell light box, let's just be honest. You walk into the Bell Light Box, a lot of people in buttoned up, dress shirts, and a lot of well-to-do theater crowd, right? So, we did a giveaway for this beautiful film called The Last Tree. And, we had 200 people from the hood basically walking in, Malvern, Cataraqui, basically Scarborough, walking into Tilt Bell Light Box. And I just observed the uncomfortableness of everyone around me as I was just like, I'm home. Like, I'm so happy, but I felt it extremely, and it was uncomfortable. And I'm, glad I got to kind of see that. But yeah,
I mean, people do, gravitate toward their own as like a default.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you should wander and meet new people and try different things. I agree with that.
Yeah. Why do you think people gravitate towards their own?
It's easier, it's simpler, it's familiar. You don't have to try. You can be on autopilot. It's safer. It feels safer, right?
Well, my girlfriend of 5.5 years, 6 years now, is Eastern European. So maybe I'm the same way.
And there's really nothing wrong with being safe and being comfortable in your own home, in your private time.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
Sense of humor is probably the same. You literally can let loose.
Yeah. When I chose a place to buy, I deliberately chose the place, which was I looked at population demographics of certain locations in Toronto, and I was like, this is the place which has the most number of people that I haven't interacted with in my life. And I hadn't been around a lot of Muslim immigrants, Pakistani people, Lebanese, Saudi Arabia. I just hadn't been around a lot of those people in my life. I grew up in New York, had a lot of Indian friends, a lot of black friends, a lot of white friends. When we went to New Jersey, there was a lot of white people. Where I was growing up in New Jersey, went down to Nashville, again, a lot of white people, a lot of black people. But I had a lot of interactions with Indian people, and sometimes like I would catch myself being like, the food smells, whatever. And then I grew to actually love the food, right? So I'm actually very, very glad that I moved into the neighborhood I did. And it was particularly because I wanted to expose myself to, that culture. And then I had a neighbor who for years, she would go around every single door and she would knock and she would give them food for Eid, right? She never knocked on our door. So one time I just kind of asked her husband, I'm like, why don't you all knock on our door? He's like, oh, well, we heard that Serbian people, we know your last name is Serbian. We've heard that you guys don't have a positive association with Muslims. I'm like, well, I'm not my country. Like, I know a lot of Serbian people have an issue with Islam because of Bosnia and, Albania and frankly, Turkey, but I'm not my country. And I'm like, and frankly, I have no problem with it. And then the very next week, they dropped off food at my house and it was beautiful. It was amazing. So
I guess they were trying to be respectful.
They were such beautiful people, man. And they actually moved from the apartment they were in to another place in the building. And we always talk in the elevator, man. We're always talking in the elevator. We always talk about life. We talk about, property. We talk about real estate. It's great, man. I think like of all the decisions I've made, and initially I used to be mad because they used to hate my dog. Like they never wanted to be in the elevator with my dog because so they told me they can't touch dogs in the culture or in their religion. They just can't be around dogs. So every single time I'd be in the elevator and then a Muslim person would be like, no, I'm not going to answer the fucking thing. It would make me mad. And then someone eventually explained it to me and they'd be like, no, like they think dogs are unclean. And instead of judging it, I was like, let me try to approach this with a little bit of empathy. I understand that, if someone had a fucking tarantula, because I have a fear of tarantulas, if someone had a fucking tarantula, like I would want to enter the elevator too. I get it, so yeah. So anyways, to keep it back to the Raptors, where do the Raptors go from here? They got a game tomorrow against the Philadelphia 76ers. Is this a schedule loss?
What's the schedule loss?
Is this a schedule loss? We got a back-to-back against the Sixers tomorrow.
Ooh, and they didn't play today? Also to clarify,
no, they didn't.
I'm pretty sure what is haram for Muslims, haram meaning forbidden, is the dog's saliva.
Right.
It's the saliva particularly.
Draco squirts blood saying black women are too loud for me. Okay. Draco, we like to be very, very pro free speech here. I'm sorry. You're getting banned for that.
Also, let's abbreviate it to Draco. We don't need the squirts blood.
We don't, and that's like some of my favorite people in life have been black women, and they're not loud. Like that's just fucking racist as fuck. Fuck yourself. Anyways, shout outs to you, Draco. I hear there are Reddit communities that are devoted to you. Anyways, yeah.
No, Draco would make a dinner party very lively. That's what Draco would do. For sure, 100%. It's like, hey, so Draco, what do you think of, that's what I'd be. I'd ask Draco a question immediately.
What do you think of affirmative action, Draco?
Yeah.
What do you think of DEI hires, Draco? We should have had him on, bro. We should have had him on. We could have had a fucking 1 hour comedy hour. Fucking hell,
I'm
man.
like, I like entertainment with my food. I like entertainment.
Yeah. I think the part that kind of gets me is there's an assumption that every person of every culture supports like if you think like when you're watching two Muslim people that they're like supporting Muslims. They're not always. And you sometimes see a panel with like 6 black people and you're like, they must be very pro-black stuff. They must be very B1. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're the exact opposite. They're actually tearing down black culture. That I think needs to be adjusted in our own minds, is the expectation that a person of a certain color will only defend people of that color. I think that needs to be adjusted. That's not always true. In fact, rarely ever true.
Yeah. Sixers tomorrow. I think we can pull it off.
Facts.
I don't think they're that good. And that's not a. By the way, thoughts on Embiid? Is he cooked?
I mean, he's turning around slowly. I mean, he's still a mega problem for us. Let's just be real. Like, we don't have anybody that can guard him. Jakob Poeltl can't guard him to save his life. Like, you watch Jakob over the last few years. Dude, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, respectfully, I understand Embiid is not MVP Embiid anymore, but I don't think Jakob Poeltl in his best day could have guarded Embiid. Mars Talk Sports saying the Sixers don't have an answer for the Raptors offense. Yes, in a sense, yes. There are a lot of weak defenders on the Sixers that the Raptors could potentially pick on. Maxey, I think for all the stuff that people talk about VJ, he's still vulnerable. Defensively, he's still vulnerable. He is a rookie. I believe Jared McCain is back now for them. Is Quentin Grimes back? But, you know, it should be a very, very tough game. And they're on the road. This is the last really tough game for the Raptors, though, for a while. That's crazy to say, but it's also very true.
I remember you said we can string like what 6, 7 in a row. What was the number 10? Like feasible? Like it was feasible? If we win tonight, well, it's already past midnight.
It's tonight.
If we win tonight, like realistically, what can we string together? Because this is what, 4 in a row?
This is 4 in a row. So to show the schedule, the upcoming schedule, because I feel like it's nice to care about the schedule again. It's great. It feels nice to care about the schedule again. So after winning our first game against Atlanta, we are now, by the way, 2-0 against Atlanta. We lost 4 straight. 1 to Houston, 1 to San Antonio, 1 to Dallas, of all fucking teams, and Milwaukee. I feel like we should have won the Milwaukee and Dallas game, and we should probably right now be 7-2. For real, we should be 7-2, but we're not, and that's fine. Whatever. We lost some ugly ones early. Jakob Poeltl was a fucking train wreck. If we beat Philly, we will be 6-4, and we will have won 5 straight. Brooklyn should be a win.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland is going to be a loss. Sorry to tell you, it's going to be a loss. They're healthy now. Garland's back. Mitchell's back. That's probably going to be a loss, and it's on the road. Indiana, I believe, is a playing is a NBA Cup game. That should be a win.
That's a Saturday. Aren't Cup games Tuesday and Tuesday and Fridays?
Oh, I apologize. So this is the NBA Cup, Friday, November 21st, and it's at home. Thank God. And then who else do we have? Indiana's not even our fucking division, is it? Where's our NBA Cup schedule? Hold on.
Yeah, we play 2 Friday games.
So our Cup game is Washington on Friday. What did you say the NBA Cup games are? They're
I think it's Tuesday and Friday.
Tuesday and Friday. So then our other NBA Cup game would naturally. It's not Portland. Brooklyn? There we go. Is it Brooklyn? November 11th against Brooklyn? Is that? No, Indy and Washington. Okay. What? Hold on. I need to look this up. NBA Cup schedule.
Yeah, because it's the way they did it last year. It was 2 days. When they started, it was always on 2 specific days of the week. That was it. And
it's okay. So it is November 21st against Washington and November 26th on my birthday against the Pacers. So on my birthday against Pascal Siakam, we can clinch the NBA Cup.
Okay. So it's on Wednesdays and Fridays. NBA Cup games are Wednesdays and Fridays.
Okay, cool. Okay, yes.
I mean, we won 2 already, so I don't know if you can do the NBA Cup standings, but what's our point differential? We have 2 wins, right? We have 2
wins. Our differential is 23. Okay, so hold on. I'll just pull it up on screen for you.
Yeah, go to the rankings, the standings, and then go to NBA Cup. And if we win the 3rd game, if we win 1 more game, yeah, what group are we in? 2-0.
We're in Group A, so we're 2-0, as I mentioned. Cavaliers and Hawks are both 1-1.
We beat the Cavs. We gave the Cavs one loss.
Yes, we did. So they are 1-1. So now what I'm saying is if the Raptors lose to one of either Indiana or Washington, which can happen, but probably shouldn't happen, the only thing that will happen is the Cavaliers will now be tied with us, and they also have the same differential as us. Now, the way the NBA Cup works is the 6 teams that win their group automatically advance.
Mhm.
Beyond that, it is
One more team.
2 more teams that have the differential advance. So right now, the teams that have a positive differential, Minnesota, who just won tonight, are 1-1, and they have a positive 22. That is ridiculous. Sorry,
So-
they have a positive 40 because they blew the shit out of the Utah Jazz tonight. The Jazz are 0-2. Wait, they're 1-0, 1-0. I apologize. So 1-0, and the Suns are 1-0. So at this point, if we lose, it can't be by a lot because we can't lose our differential, and we definitely can't lose 2. So that's kind of where we're at.
So all group leaders advance, and then
Automatically.
And then the 2 best differentials, not record, it's differential.
It's record plus differential. So if there's a record tie, so let's just say, for instance, I don't know. Okay, let's just play this out hypothetically. Let's say Miami wins their group, Pistons win their group, Raptors win their group. Let's just say everyone who's on top wins their group. San Antonio beat Houston tonight. Let's say they win their group. Lakers win their group. Minnesota wins their group. Let's say the next team is 3-1. So not 4-0, but 3-1. And it's the Phoenix Suns. And they have a differential of 22. And then the Clippers are 3-1, and they have a differential of 12. And then and then the Cavaliers are 3-1, and they have a differential of 40 plus 40. The Clippers will not make it. The Suns and the Cavs
down in West and East, one West wild card and one East wild card.
I don't know that for sure.
I'm pretty sure
it might be
because it's West versus East at the very end in the Cup final.
That's fair. So okay, so if we are to assume that the Raptors will only compete with A, B, and C,
yeah, I think that's how it works.
Then they are ahead of the Bucks, ahead of the Heat, ahead of the Magic, and ahead of the Pistons in terms of point differential. The only differential teams that are close to us. Actually, hold on. Yes. Wait a second. This is wrong. How much did we beat the Hawks by on opening night?
We didn't. That wasn't a cup game.
Oh shit! Yes, you're right. It was the Cavs. So Cavs and Hawks. Okay, yes, this is correct. My bad. Right. I don't know. Brain fart there. Okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Yo, we can accelerate. You know what's also interesting?
What?
If we actually get into this cup tournament, and regardless of what the media or players say, they actually, once you go into the knockout stage, it's playoff type atmosphere.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. If I'm Bobby, I'm loving this. I get to see what we really got. You don't have to wait till April.
In fairness, though, and this is a very valid point, I think when you really see is after the first game of the playoffs when the team has a chance to adjust.
Fair enough. But even if you advance, the next team saw the footage of the last game. But I agree. I actually agree with you. Yeah. But it's something. Something.
For sure. It is definitely something.
Something you can make decisions based off of. If you have already if you already have an instinct, and then that instinct is, affirmed.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Now, if you can go back to that standings and assume all the leaders are going to advance, what are our chances against these other East teams this early in the season? Because I'm gonna be honest, ain't no world beaters out here.
The Pistons look very good. Very good. Isaiah Stewart looks amazing. Cade looks amazing. It's really, really hard to argue that the Pistons should not be favored right now because the Knicks have already dropped, right? They dropped their cup game. They're 0-1. So the Knicks are not a threat.
And minus 10.
Cavaliers, unfortunately, due to injuries. So I think right now the real threat to the Raptors are the Heat and the Bucks and the Pistons.
Bro, that
maybe
doable.
the Cavaliers if we drop another game.
That sounds doable to me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look, the Cavaliers might be the wild card team, right? And I have a feeling that the way this, if it is East-West, the worst thing that's going to happen for the Raptors is if the Cavs are the wild card team, you have to face a healthy Cavs team in the opening round.
Yeah, because it would be the top seed versus the wild card because they'd be number 4.
Yeah, so there might be even like a little bit of finessing going on here because the Heat have a point differential of 18, right? We have a point differential of 23. I think because point differential counts so much, if the Heat continue to remain undefeated, or I don't know, if the Bucks remain undefeated, I just don't think any team is going to go undefeated other than potentially the Raptors. So the Raptors might be number 1 by default. They might be the only team that goes undefeated in the East group because, again, the Heat, I think, still have to face the Bucks. Yes, they do. So they're probably going to lose that. The Bucks still have to face, I think, the Knicks. They're probably going to lose that. So it's just like there's a lot of competition. The Raptors technically did have like a really tough division when you look at it preseason. You're like, oh my God, we got the Cavs, the Hawks, and the Pacers. Like, holy shit, you know, this is a tough division. Any one of these teams could beat us. But yeah, like, you know what? In pure Raptors fashion, we're probably going to lose to fucking Washington or something.
Man, I'm just so happy we're 2-0 in the Cup and we actually have a chance because Indiana got their start in the NBA Cup. They turned it around, taking the NBA Cup seriously.
They did. That is true.
And that Lakers team that went the furthest with LeBron and AD since their title when they went to the conference finals, that started with the NBA Cup. The NBA Cup matters.
It does.
It matters.
It totally does. And I think if the Toronto Raptors take it seriously, you know, there's really no telling, you know, where you can take it. It's a huge momentum builder for a team. And yeah, man. Thank you.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for these Cup games. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just excited. I'm excited to watch games that matter. It's been a while since we've participated in anything close to basketball that mattered.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is very true. Yeah. Anyways, Coach Mo, thanks a lot for calling in, man. Any final thoughts?
Back-to-back wins. That's what we're going to do. We're going to win. I believe in it. And, bro, we can beat the Pistons. I don't care. We can beat the Pistons. Duran's looking amazing, though. Duran looks great.
Duran is going to beat the shit out of us. And
Yeah, he is.
just
He
like,
is.
yeah, like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like, yeah, the Pistons are better than I thought they were going to be this
Duran
year.
has muscles on top of muscles.
Yeah.
That dude looks like he's 300 pounds and like 5% body fat. Holy cow.
He's chiseled, man.
He is.
Yeah, I predict a loss tomorrow just because of the schedule, because this game was so hard fought, it's so physical. The Raptors are on the road. They're going to get out of Atlanta at like probably 1 a.m., you know, take a flight into Philly. I mean, Atlanta, Philly, not a long flight. Granted, it's not a West Coast, East Coast flight, still same time zone. But that being said, you get into Philly, you probably get into the hotel around 3 a.m. I mean, let's say you get your flight at 11:30, 12. I mean, this is the NBA team. They should get a flight by 12. They get into the flight by 12 to get into the fucking hotel by 2. Tomorrow, you probably get like 8 hours, 6 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep. Like, it could be a bloodbath tomorrow, easily. That team plays fast. They got dynamic guards on the perimeter. We got turnstiles on the perimeter. You know, no disrespect, Shannon, but Quentin Grimes, VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey. I'm naming 3 guys that RG Barrett cannot stay in front of. Gradey Brick cannot stay in front of. So it is going to be relentless.
Throw IU in there because
yeah,
he's not a bad defender. He's just not smart. He reckless closeouts, random gambles, turning his back, falling asleep. He actually can be decent. He just the awareness of his problem is between the ears. Most of his problems are between the ears.
Sure.
But I want to just say I'm about to hang up, but Okay, IQ's contract ain't great, bro. I looked at Darius Garland's contract. Holy moly. His is worse.
Mars Talk Sports said the person that got the Raptors winning. Darius Garland's contract is absolutely not worse than Manny Quickly's.
He doesn't play, bro.
Yeah, but when he plays, he's way better.
It's 42.
Are you fighting
average.
that?
It's 42 average for the next 3 years.
Emmanuel Quickly's 32
And
average
here's
for the
why
next
I think
4
it's
years.
bad. Here's why I think it's bad. Because he's playing next to a guy who basically plays the same position.
I get it.
Yeah.
But at the
on
same
another
time,
team,
like,
he'd actually be more valuable on another team that actually needs him.
yeah.
Hold on. You do an IQ for just a swap?
Would I do a swap? Bro, I would drive his ass to the airport. 100% I would do the swap. Emmanuel Quickly for Darius Garland? Yeah, man. Garland is so much better.
He is, but the defense is a lot worse.
Yeah, but the offense is a million times better.
I agree.
He's a way better passer. He's a way better shooter. He's a way better creator. Like, if one can dream one day that we would have a guard as secure as Darius Garland.
You think IQ and RJ defensive backcourt's bad? Woo.
Yeah, but like if I can, offense and defense is so connected, right? Like, you know, it's not like Emmanuel Quickly is a stopper defensively. We're not giving up Davion Mitchell again, right? So it's like he's okay defensively. He's not great defensively. Darius Garland is bad defensively. Okay, cool. So if we were to do an Emmanuel Quickly for RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly for Darius Garland swap right away, my second order of business is immediately trading RJ Barrett for trading. Wow, that's 2 times Freudian slip. Trading Jakob Poeltl for rim protection, like great rim protection to protect Darius Garland. But what DG could do in terms of spacing the court and finding, you know, he's such a better processor of the game, man. He's just such a more natural passer, point guard. Like, he's an actual point guard. His floater range stuff is good. His pull-up shit is good. He's a good deep range shooter. Yeah, the durability shit and the defense is tough, but I mean, like, there's no chance in hell you're getting him other than for those 2 reasons.
Real health issues. Like, he has real health issues.
Yeah, he has durability issues, and Emmanuel Quickly was healthy for 43 games last year. He played 33 of them. So it's not like we are selling on like the beacon of health, you know?
Dude, he was injured in the playoffs and he's not even ready for the start of the season. It's bad. For Garland. It's bad.
That's fair. Yeah. Anyways, man, thanks a lot for calling in. Appreciate you. Good conversation as always. And shout outs. Okay. Good conversation. We danced around a ton of subjects, and shout outs to everybody who's staying with us past midnight, 26 minutes past midnight. And shout outs to Larry Kane for becoming a member. Shout outs to Pepperjack and the 10 Pensare Basketball memberships that you have gifted to 10 new ballers have been birthed tonight. Shout outs to those ballers. Please keep in mind your membership technically starts on November 8th. It runs out on December 8th. If you would like to continue being a member to support this channel, you have to kind of opt in and rejoin with your own credit card, because obviously this membership that you have is on Pepperjack's credit card. And if you'd like to pay it back, if at any point you feel like, hey, Pepperjack did me a favor, let me give somebody else, pay it forward, you can always right click on a person and just say gift that person a membership, and it allows you to buy a membership. I've done it for people. It's pretty cool, and it's always nice to pay it forward. But thank you so much to Pepperjack. You've done this, I want to say 4 different times, and it's always generous. And I'll let you know that at least 5 people that you've gifted memberships to have renewed. So shout outs to you, and shout outs to the community. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. And I see certain people commenting that were commenting 2.5 hours ago. Thank you so much for making these lives as popular as they are, as viewed as they are, as profitable as they are. And thank you for supporting the Toronto Raptors, man. We are finally above 500, and I'm a happy person. All right. DB said, here the 905 did well today. You know what? I got to tell you, with Over Chomsky not on the 905, I will not be covering the 905 this year at all, but I wish them very, very well. I got a lot of stuff on my docket right now with PC. I'm gonna be on players. I'm gonna be on Players Choice 2 times a week, pretty much going forward. Tuesday and Thursday, you can lock me in, and I'm gonna be on playback a lot for Players Choice this month, so you can watch games with me. Some of y'all caught yesterday's game between the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers with us. I saw some of y'all in the chat. If I see you in the chat and you ask for a VIP, I'll try my best to get you a VIP, which allows you to watch the game. If you have NBA League Pass, you can hook that up. But I'll be on quite a few times. In fact, let me just let y'all know which games I will be covering on playback. Just give me one sec here. Pull this up. So I will be covering. What the fuck? Sorry, wrong message thread. I will be covering. So it is November 4th. It's already done. November 9th. It will be the Rockets versus the Bucks on Sunday. These will all be on off days where the Raptors are not playing. So, you know, if you just want a little bit more Pensare basketball in your life. So November 9th, Rockets versus Bucks at 3:30. The Raptors play later that day, if I remember correctly. I will be covering November 11th and 14th. And 11th is Nuggets versus Kings. And the 14th is the Warriors versus the Spurs. Shout outs to the San Antonio Spurs. I'll be covering November 18th and 23rd. 18th is Suns versus Blazers. And the 23rd is Clippers versus Cavs on playback. So watch playback again. So packed month ahead. I will also be doing playback on November 25th, November 28th, and those are my playback dates for the month. So shout outs to playback, shout outs to PC, and I'm also going to be doing this thing tomorrow where I'm going to start linking my Players Choice episodes, the ones that I appear on. I'm going to start linking those onto this channel as a playlist. So if you just want to hear what I have to say when I'm on PC, I will link those episodes, and I'll just go back retroactively and I'll just pick all my episodes from the last 2 months and I'll start making a playlist out of those. Okay. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great one. If you haven't liked on this video, what are you waiting for? It's free. And a little ball bounces when you hit like. If you haven't seen it, if you're one of those people who's been very stingy with your likes, please hit like on this video. I would very much appreciate it. And yes, talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. And Shannon saying that's a good idea. Shout outs to Shannon. Shout outs to Coach Mo. Shout outs to Nolan. Shout outs to all of our callers today. Y'all did great. All right. Gregory saying, yeah, banger show tonight. Yes, we kept the vibes high and we kept the wine full, but now the wine glass is empty. What kind of a ghetto ass person am I that I'm having wine in a beer glass? For real, man. Peace.